Keeps clips. Remember, citizens, to hit that bell and subscribe or you'll rot in hell.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy. Clips. Alrighty, boob tubes, another one of Kip's Clips. With... There we go, boom in the room. I think I turned the camera on before going live, but actually I don't. Anyway, in the evening, one and all. Hopefully yous are all well. Welcome to tonight's not the Infowars Nightly News. The original, the OG baby, alternative look at the so-called alternative media. Skeptical with the spectacles, but they're technically sunglasses. And watching the motherfucking Watchmen, because somebody's got to do it. So welcome one and all. Give me a wee sec to push a few wee buttons here. I think you would do this before you went live, wouldn't you? Too busy doing other stuff. EastEnders is getting good. So in the evening, one and all. Hopefully you're all well. And enjoying the shit show. Mental on it. It's what's happening over in the States and how it seems to be trying to get spread worldwide, and how easy it is to turn police brutality into classism, racism, and the left-right divide. It's been politicised, isn't it? It's no longer like, right, okay, look what happened to George Floyd. What's the demands of the protesters, and how can we go about appeasing those demands and making sure the people that are responsible for the murder get appropriately held accountable appropriately. How that's been lost, I don't know. Well, I don't know, it's quite obvious because the world's a powder keg right now, and there's people that quite happily profit off these situations on all sides. And what you'll see is both sides pointing at the other side and politicising it all and stuff. And it's kind of interesting to watch how this is getting used by both sides. I mean, let's say, for example, all the supposed scumbaggery that's went on to try and remove Trump. Well, they seem a bit Machiavellian in it, so would the ends justify the means? Would the people that are trying to oust Trump, try and profit on this situation? And would Trump try and profit on this situation ahead of election year? Not an election year, an election year. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, crazy days. So we'll be looking at some of the US chaos and talking about how it's spreading and stuff, and some out of the box thinking about what people should be doing instead of like kicking feck out at each other for no reason. I know the reason: police brutality. I mean, is the answer to that what's going on? What are the protesters' demands? Let's hear them, and let's try and get them met. But as I'm saying, there's probably, to me, there seems to be entities on all sides who want to profit from this, and a lot of them are Machiavellian in their thinking. Yeah, they'll pretty much do anything if
they think it will get them what they want. But anyway, we'll bounce into that and a few other bits and bobs in the conspiracy world of YouTube and the news alike, you know. A real alternative look at the news and so-called media alike. These some things remain true for a long time. Anyway, in the evening one and all, I'll have a wee shifty. What's this? Have a wee shifty. What's on tonight's show? Now we'll get on with the bull crap. Right, the new TR's new crusade. So I think again, like brown Muslims have been caught being pedos. So Tommy Robinson's is all over it, of course. You know, he's exposing it. How he found this out was, I think they get charged. I mean, it's a brilliant trick he plays. I'm exposing Muslim paedophiles, but all the ones that are in papers and going through the courts. That's the Muslim paedophiles you're exposing. The ones that the authorities are already dealing with. Then you get the argument: are they getting dealt with appropriately or not? Which is another discussion. But anyway, he's got a new crusade, so probably something along those lines. We'll go and have a wee listen. Itchy Richie Allen, he's out there speaking about Ken O'Fief. But like again, it's all good gatekeepers. He's leaving out the part that Max Egan was ball deep in the scam as well. And when Ken O'Fief and Max Egan got caught in a scam, they fell out, and the Truther Industrial Complex ran Max Egan's aid. It's for some strange reason they always do. It's almost like he's a predicted guy in some sort of a network of wallopers. Because even when he came out and started talking about flat earth and direct energy weapons and stuff, everybody ran his aid, didn't they? And now it's like forgotten, just like his scam with Ken O'Fief, so we'll touch on that. Hong Kong Fooey, so there's a lot of stuff going on with China. And let's have a wee look at Hong Kong, and there's a good few important points I want to touch on here, I think. And the war with China, self-explanatory, been touching on that for ages. Sleepy Joe, you know, just in the run-up to the election, every time Joe Biden says a word wrong or appears to say a word wrong, or a small snippet can make it appear that he's saying something mucked up, it's all over your YouTubes and stuff. I mean, if you did listen to Joe Rogan, you would literally think Joe Biden was a dribbling vegetable. But it makes sense, because that's where Joe Rogan's money comes from, and he's electioneering in the run-up to an election, in my humble opinion. But anyway, Trump's pool, Tim Pool. I mean, I remember the first time I came across this guy, and it really was when he took money from Paul Joseph Watson to go over to Sweden to prove that ghettos, Muslim ghettos, existed over there. Even though, anyway, and he's one of these independent journalist chameleons, you know. I'm liberal, I'm left or centre, I'm this, that. And then all they do is propagandise in and around Trump and the right wing in the run-up to an election, which would sway the opinion of their viewers and followers and whatnot, of which he has many. Let's not forget Tim Pool and Joe Rogan, best buds, phone numbers. Joe Rogan's telling Tim Pool to calm Alex Jones down with all the Spotify stuff. Anyway, mask NPCs and how people's choice of wanting to or not wanting to wear a mask has now been politicised to an extent that there's what would you call them? Well-meaning idiots. I think that's as polite as it could be. Well-meaning idiots out there trying to demonise just random people in the street for wearing a mask. When the kind of theory behind wearing a mask makes perfect sense, but God forbid you go and look into that and just don't think it's all one big wrapped up New World Order conspiracy. The Corona clowns. It's like people who don't believe in viruses get the flu every year. Kill Bill. It's just the chorus of Kill Bill, you know. Again, it's I believe when you see certain entities continuously demonise people, and when I say demonise, Alex Jones is a perfect example. He literally demonises people. Doesn't just go, oh, he's farted in the lift and it stunk. He calls them demons and goblins and... anyway. But, usual tactic, you demonise your enemy, you know. That's propaganda 101. Demonise your enemy. Make your side feel like they're like subhuman. It gives you lots of power. Black helicopters. I don't know, I always find it funny when people think black helicopters are out chasing them because they believe in chemtrails. But who am I to laugh at this shit? Who am I to laugh at the US fake? Brian Rose. I've not actually got any content from him this week. It's from a channel called US Fake. No. London Fake, sorry, not US Fake. US Fake's my name. London Fake is the channel they started up. And it's quite funny, cleverly clipped together clips. Which I think you will enjoy the giggle. Then, touch on the murky Tramp Swamp. Troll Swamp. Just because, for my sins, listened to a bit of Brian Harvey, and he asked some questions to John Badger, but he also asked me something, and I can crystal clarify it for him, no problem at all. So leave that to last. The best or worst to last, who knows? But anyway, so at the evening, what it all. Thanks for joining. Subscribe, hit that bell. I kid, or you're gonna rot in hell. Remember, thumbs it up, share it on the Facebook, Twitter, all the good stuff. Leave all your comments, and remember what I do here is digital busking. It's all available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job, you find value in what I do, and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the PayPal button down below. And a mega thanks to those who do. Alright, boob tubes, Kelper. How you doing, Kelper? The lazy Jesus, how you doing, Jesus? McVicker, how you doing, buddy? K9, Roberto Carlos, or Roberto Rhymes it is now. Pontiac, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're keeping well. Devon, McVicker, Tom, Jesus, Roberto, Miss Spice, Richie, the Highlander, how you doing, Richie? Roberto, the Highlander, McVicker. In the evening, one and all, thanks for joining. So, I can't remember if I've put this in a particular order or no. We'll get on with it and see if we're good to go. Tommy Robinson's New Crusades. Right.
What a beautiful day. Where are we?
I have no idea what's happening. Oh, well, it's 3 minutes. Let's get an update. I suspect some brown people have been caught being a wee bit paedophilic.
And it's too hot. I should have Speedos on. It's roasting, mate.
See, back in the day when I could be bothered keeping track of this,
mate,
I started up a folder called Where's Tommy?
I just realised how nice it must be
and what
to
I
live
done,
by the coast.
I started compiling on a week-to-week basis.
If you live in a town,
just random, not me looking for it, like Tommy goes out looking for this shit. Just stories of paedophilia involving people that weren't Muslim, and just Tommy's nowhere. You know, it was hashtag Where's Tommy? There's a big team of fucking pedos here, big team of pedos there, big team of pedos there, and Tommy's nowhere. But the second fucking a pedo called Muhammad is about all over it.
So nice. So I'm in Barrow, still continuing this our little piece. And if my mate's watching, Ches, I stayed up till 2 o'clock this morning watching Top Boy of all things, yeah. Don't ask. But I stayed up till 2 o'clock this morning watching Top Boy because Ches was meant to drive this morning. And he didn't turn up, did you, Ches? So I had a 5-hour drive here, now I've got a 5-hour drive home, you tosser. I'd have gone to bed at 10 o'clock like I always do if I thought I was getting up that early. But yeah, I am so hot, but I am so shot, but if I take the blazer off, the white shirt doesn't fit me. The buttons are popping. So, been to see a couple of people so far, another couple of people to see. The thing with this case, with all of this, is there's going to be so many legalities because there's upcoming cases on, which I'll have to find out, of what I can and can't reveal. But just so you know, when I'm giving my...
This is because he isn't a trained reporter.
My clip of it, I'll probably know more than I can let on, if you know what I mean, or found out more than I can let on, so...
You don't want to be accusing Muslims of mowing down children with a car again. Oops. Oops. So, let's look at the other side. All I done was put Barrow into Google. Let me see if I can show you. Right. And then just go to the news stories. There it's there, right? So let's see if we can get a bit of balance. Not that one's telling the truth over the other, but let's just have a wee look. Barrow MP warning against trial by social media. Simon Fell said the best way to protect victims was for people to come forward and give evidence to the police. He made his comments amid tensions in Barrow over allegations of physical and sexual abuse of a teenage girl. He said, Mr. Fell, people have the right to be concerned about what they're reading and angry at pictures they've seen. Oh God, is there pictures that our community has victims like these within it, and that worst type of criminals may be at large will make any normal person anxious. The way a community best protect. Right, so they don't address the actual situation, which I don't know. See, if imagine one of your own family members is unfortunate enough to be a victim in one of these fucking pedo things, right? The last thing you would want is like a bunch of Tommy Robinson's and Knights Templar Secret Knight still were like, recruited when he was in the BMP at the same time as Jim Dawson, Nick Griffin, Jones, who's the other guy? And Tommy Robinson. Nick Griffin. Oh, and Paul Golden as well. Right, they were all on the BMP at the same time. And Jim Dawson's a marketing guy, and his speciality is demographics. So he knows how to market, and he knows how to market to different demographics. So imagine being a wee Nazi, a wee Scottish Nazi, but you're a marketing guy, and you know through demographics and through like the polling numbers and stuff that you would have to appeal to people that you might actually want to put up against the wall and shoot in order to get power. And that's what I think's happening. So, imagine that was unfortunate to happen to anybody you knew, and the next thing you know it's getting hijacked and tried to get used at a race and part of a race war. You know? And again, I want paedophiles to be prosecuted under the full extent of the law. There has to be a system there, and a fair system. Otherwise, idiots would just be going about and fucking calling all their enemies paedophiles and getting them lynched. I think there's a massive argument that the convicted paedophiles in this country don't get harsh enough sentences. And let's not forget, Tommy Robinson isn't exposing anything. All he's doing is going around and showing you a narrative of paedophiles in this country. There's 66 million people in the UK. I don't want to talk out of turn right now, but I think the stats for paedophilia is lower than they've ever been, if that makes sense, right? In the grand scheme of things. What Tommy Robinson's going is go and find every paedophile that's called Mohammed to create hatred towards that community. And not just, it's not just against paedophiles, has to be brown paedophiles. That's the point I was making. And you can even see how long ago was this? Back in 2018. I used to spend the time going, fuck it, like look at all these paedophile cases that's happening that Tommy Robinson doesn't talk about, never goes near. Nothing to do with him. Fuck it. But one with Mohammed, whoa, he's even lockdown, he's all over it. But anyway, so that's Tommy Robinson's new crusade. I'll wait till I hear the
helping escape
further details from other sources than ex-BMP members. And this is my conspiracy behind Tommy Robinson. I think Jim Dawson brought him on board to create a splinter group that which would appeal to people that the BMP didn't. I don't know why that sounds like such a crazy ass conspiracy theory, especially when you look who Jim Dawson is, especially when you look at the journey Tommy Robinson has, especially looking at the Crusader fucking shield and all that he's got on his arm. Especially when you hear on this guy, this is the Mr. Crusader, what was it called? What's he called himself? Let's listen to this is funny.
Good morning from Dave. Lots of you may remember me from my time in Britain First, where I was Crusader Man. I was in
Crusader Man, Jim Dawson, on a crusade, his own admission. Who's he been in link with all his past associations? The BMT, why am I keep saying that? The BMP at all the same times as Tommy Robinson, Paul Golden, Jones, Golden, Jim Dawson, Tommy Robinson. Hundreds of them, right? They were all in the BMP at the same time. I think back then, Jim Dawson, who was a marketing guy at the time, still back then, was talking about how to market the BMP's message, their ideology, or gain support for it, but to market it to other demographics. And Tommy Robinson got the splinter group, the EDL. I think initially it was to kind of appeal to like football hooligans, you know, en masse, which I think was self-evident it did. And it kind of grew as Tommy Robinson grew more than the EDL, and it enabled him to not only appeal to football casuals, hooligans, whatever you want to call. He also managed to appeal to the LGBT mob, which back in the day wouldn't go anywhere near any far-right organisation because they understand that their essence, they would put gay people up against the wall and kill them. That's my crazy conspiracy. But let's listen to a wee bit inside baseball.
Invented the idea, basically. Introduced the idea. Paul Golding liked it straight away, and so did not so young Mr. Edge. And so I started coming in. He told me everyone, and it, you know,
Mr. Crusader.
Said, like, every rally you're there. Well, obviously I couldn't do it in the southern counties, but I more or less agreed. I've been a member of Britain First, really, over 2 years even then. Excuse me. Yeah, but subsequently my loyalty and willing to risk a knife in the chest on some occasions with the MDL, and standing beside Britain First leader Paul Golding and Andrew Edge, good old baldy no teeth Edge. How are you doing, Andy? Hope the dealing's going well. I believe Spice is getting very popular in Manchester, so I heard. Yeah, you should know, you're heavily involved, and your son is too, isn't it?
Oh dear. Imagine shock and horror, the accusations that people involved that crowd are of the gangster criminal fraternity. Oh. Uh-oh. I've just had a major malfunction. Hopefully that just rectified.
Old guy who they were helping escape. Sensitive, very bright little lad. He said in the school report, he said, I feel sad for Dad. He's living lonely all on his own, which is pretty much right, son. Pretty much got that right, how it's been. Yes, I've been this younger woman, after initially being good-hearted, I mean, very soon later she was sending messages.
As funny as this is, I'm not going to subject you to the whole episode of Jeremy Kyle Show. But it is quite interesting. Talks about his ex-wife, now hanging about with Paul Golden. I mean, I don't know, they're all a wee bit sex pesty for me. Claiming to be moral guardians and all that jazz. Oh, there we go, I get my thumbnail out. Right, so I shared that. If you want to go and listen to the whole other tragic story, it was the stuff with Tommy Robinson. So that's Tommy's new crusades. Let's have a wee look now. I'm going to do this again and just lay it all out for anybody that hasn't seen this, and like, why not? Because right, we need that one. Need the Jim Dawson one as well, because this is my crazy conspiracy. So Jim Dawson, currently the Knight Templar, founder of Britain First, with Paul Golden and Jada Francine. When he worked for the BMP, he was in the BMP at the same time as Nick Griffin, Tommy Robinson, Paul Golden, and Joe Owens. Jim Dawson, by trade, is a marketing expert, let's say, whose expertise, I'm not saying this, go and ask him directly. I mean, rock up in the Knights Templar with a real name and ask him this question. He won't deny it. He doesn't deny it. He's a expert in demographics, and he's using this expertise for his political ideologies. And if you look at the people he promotes and has supported in the past, and just listen to him, it's plain as day. Now, it's my belief that Jada Francine is a secret Knights Templar and woman knight, or whatever version. The women are subservient to the men in the Knights Templar, so whatever rank they get, maybe like, right? But I also believe Paul Golding and Tommy Robinson are still secret Knights Templar knights like Andless Breverick, who are sent out to set up splinter groups. And Tommy Robinson with his mass following, and Paul Golden and Britain First with Jada Francine to a certain extent with their mass followings. Now, Jada Francine, she's not the most unpleasant thing to look at, is she? So that's going to help with marketing. Jim Dawson isn't stupid about that. Now, before we go to that, let's have a wee listen to... No, that's not the one I'm looking for.
Now, there are...
We are your host. You are our guests. You don't shit on us. We're the...
People like Jim Dawson and his marketing company Midas, who remain, and Nick Griffins will come and go.
Right, so like when you look behind the apparatus and stuff, these people are all associated with each other at the BMP level. Jim Dawson raised £3 million for the BMP.
What's more interesting, the backroom people who remain constant. People like Jim Dawson and his marketing company Midas. He doesn't normally do television interviews, prefers to stay behind the scenes. His CV, ex-Calvinist minister, organiser of Belfast's flag protests.
We fought back on the front, a dignified and organised way.
He cut his marketing teeth working for the militant pro-life movement in the States, then set up the BMP's fundraising call centre in Belfast.
You've got to remember, most political parties don't know their arse to their elbow. You bring in a professional marketing team. You know, I trained in America with the pro-lifers and all that. If you apply professional marketing techniques and fundraising to a political situation, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
And that's what we did with the BNP. Raised them £4 million, and then left them to it. So you know, I was never in the BNP, but we did do work for them, just to make them successful enough to push everybody over to the right. And I think that has resulted now in the success that UKIP is enjoying.
Do you think he could be using Tommy Robinson in the same fashion that he used the BMP? I was never in the BMP, but we did do work for them, just to move everybody over to the right. I was never a fan of the gay lesbian supporters of Tommy Robinson, but I did do work with them just to move everybody over to the right. Man, can you imagine going back 20 years ago and saying you would see, like on the streets of the UK, you'd see Sieg Hallen Nazi gays? Mental. They even rolled out trannies on the stage one day, didn't they? One of Tommy Robinson's rallies. Marketing, folks. They're marketing themselves to a bigger, broadier audience. Not because they love gay, lesbians, LGBT, or brown or black people. They would be the first up against the wall and shot if these people ever got into power.
And far better you keep enjoying it than the BNP, to be honest with you. But at least everybody's over to the right a couple of notches.
Okay, now, did I get the Tyndall one?
Hello. Yeah.
This is a Jones, another former member of the BNP who was part of the BNP at the same time as all the four mentioned characters. Now, I'm saying they didn't all break their association. They went underground and understood they would have to dismantle and re-emerge with different front groups that would appeal to different demographics. And there's a marketing guy who's just said up there that applying marketing techniques to political situations, fucking gift. And I don't know, in this conspiracy, people would say I'm mad for believing this. So let's have a wee...
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Has to be said.
Let's have a wee listen to John Tyndall. So good that...
President Fairfield. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our activity must be geared to the winning of power. That still has to be said to some people in our movement, here in America, back in Britain and everywhere else. They are crusaders for the truth.
They're crusaders for the truth. So basically what he's saying is they're open, racist and bigots and all that stuff. But we can't do that because we have to pursue power. And that isn't working for us getting power.
But they don't relate it to the necessities of winning power.
So being a crusader for the truth, listen to the language, a crusader. Here's Jim Dawson in the Knights Templar. But that, being a crusader for the truth, doesn't facilitate the necessity for power. So basically what he's saying there is, we need to set up groups that are dishonest to get ourselves into power.
It cannot be said enough. Power is what must be won. First, just a little bit of power. Then more power. And finally, complete power. Activity geared to anything else is a waste of time.
Right, and that's what I believe they're all doing. Where are we going here? About 25 minutes.
But they're turning out. Black Lives Matter are turning out in Belfast. Listen, all lives matter. But
You better believe it.
Hijacking what they're pretending to be a legitimate cause. I mean, who savages over the same...
Reason on them. Simple as that. And it needs to stop because this, let's be honest here, let's be very, very clear.
Boom, this is it.
This is a race war.
Boom. Right? It's a race war. It's not about class. Here's Jim Dawson calling it a race war. He's wanting it to be a race war. So he sees this as black versus white.
This is a race war against white people. It's very unfortunate. But where most of the coloured people in Britain are visitors, as you say, they're visitors, recent visitors. It's very strange in America because the black population in America have actually been there longer than most white people. Most white people arrived there after the 1840s, where the black population was already there. So it's a very strange scenario. So you could say, who's got the big claim to America? But here's the thing, I don't care if they're black, pink or purple with green spots. The Vietnamese boat people came to America a couple of decades ago. They integrated into society. They became some of the most successful business people in the country. And they came from nothing, with nothing. The people who lived in Turkey, what do you call it? The Armenians. Millions of Armenians went to America. I've been in Los Angeles. There's a part of the town.
Right, so you get the gist of what I'm saying here, right? So Jim Dawson, I think some of the old boys from the BNP And if you look where the BNP came from and even the groups they associated with are behind all these apparent independent entities out there, from Tommy Robinson to Jada, who have inspired many other of what I would call gremlins, because they're real people buying into the shite they're spewing, buying into the narrative and think they're saving the world. So you can't really blame those people because they think they're saving the UK, think they're saving the white man. I don't believe that to be true, but there's been a lot of people out there that's been convinced along those lines, and me personally can't condemn them. I've seen the well-crafted shite going out there and going into lots of people's heads to take them down that path, and it's by no accident. It's coordinated with this mob. But anyway, so that's my wee rant about the kind of network behind Tommy Robinson and his new crusades and who he's crusading for. Right, I'm not going to listen to this. It's Richie Allen. I lasted 5 minutes and I was like, I'm out. But again, he refuses to go near the scam that Ken O'Keefe and Max Egan were running, because when it happened, Itchy Allen came out in defence of Max Egan, and both of them had literally, quite literally, been caught with their pants down and their pockets full. And the whole Truth Industrial Complex, for some strange reason, ran to the aid of Max Egan. Anyway, so I thought that was funny that Itchy Richie's now pointing that out. Hong Kong Fooey. Now, this is interesting. Right. Because, I don't know if you've seen Avi Yemeni's favourite place. He's such an Australian nationalist. Or a Israeli nationalist. I don't know who he's more nationalistic towards. International nationalist. I know it doesn't make sense, but I think that's what he is. But he's been hanging around in Hong Kong quite a lot for some weird reason. God only knows why. I have no idea. Right, so there's Bobo Johnson coming out and talking about possibly Bobo Johnson's opened up the visa rights of the Hong Kong citizens to 3 million. See, when I heard that, do you know what I thought? Do you know what I thought to myself? I was like, that's the 3 million house niggers that Britain. I know they're Hong Kongians, but you know what? You get the analogy that Britain has bought. Well, I would say the City of London has bought to try and keep control of that area of the world. Now, I've done the math on this before. So, population of Hong Kong, 7.5 million. But here, Scotland, right, 3 million. Now, I done the numbers way back when, right, talking about how a democracy is a scam. You're sold democracy on rule by minority, but when you break down the numbers, it's ruled by majority each and every time. Which means if you want to win power in a country, there's only a small fraction of the population of the country you have to treat well. And that's why democracy is so, in my humble opinion, democracy is so out of balance with the general people. Because the people on top want to keep it unbalanced to make sure the rich keep rich and the poor keep poor. Simple economics. So, when was this? This was back in 2017. We had so many national elections. General elections, national elections in the UK. I started holding my own and I was out, but I also crunched the numbers. 66 million in the UK. Let's see if I can remember this. The last general election that got Bobo in. I'm going to muck up these numbers, but they're along the right line. 66 million in the UK. The voting population's 45 million. I think it was like maybe a 78 or 80% turnout, which meant only what was it, like 30 million people turned out or something, 35 only turned out to vote, maybe even less. And then the Conservatives got in with about, I think it was about 12 or 13 million votes. So out of a country of 66 million people and a voting population of 45 million, for Bobo Johnson and his cronies to get in, they only have to buy over 14 million people of the population. Now, at the time I said this is how democracy works, I've done the exact same crunching the numbers in all Western democracies, and every single one of them is ruled by minority. It's a very small minority within the country buying off a small bit of the population to go up and vote for them to keep the seesaw where it is. So, if you go and crunch the numbers, there's 3 million British dual nationalists, or people that are so loyal to Britain. Boris Johnson's opening up the UK to them. I wonder what Trump and Boris Johnson fans will say about that. And all the anti-immigrant mob. It'd be quite funny. They'll need to spin it somehow. But, anywho, so, again, look at the numbers. If there's 3 million people in Hong Kong loyal to the Crown or getting offered residence in the UK, that's enough to keep those people, like they 3 million, on top of the democracy, or the democracy scam as I like to call it. So, when you see what's happening in Hong Kong just now, and look, listen, I'm not saying this, I'm a fan of the Chinese communist state. When I see the bad things the Chinese communist state do, I see the Western states doing the exact same shit. It's just reported differently through different means and methods. These riots are a very good example of that. So I wanted to point out, that was funny, 3 million Hong Kongers going to come up, come into the UK. China just destroyed Hong Kong. Now, funny, this is the man that was responsible. This is the YouTuber. That's right, people, a YouTuber. Donald Trump gets his evidence from YouTube. This guy's claims of all the bullshit that he spun about the virus coming out of Wuhan and the lab being a couple 100 metres close, and then he started spinning hundreds of pish about it was very cleverly done. Very cleverly done. And then his YouTube video, which went viral, obviously, Donald Trump watched it, and then that was his evidence that he talked about that the virus was coming out of the Wuhan lab. So I'm sorry, I don't know who this guy knows who he works for. Well, he obviously knows he works for somebody, but he certainly isn't a random YouTuber going around China making YouTube videos. If he's the genesis, and I mean the genesis, of Donald Trump's ability to stand up in the world press and spew the lies and conjecture that he'd seen evidence, a YouTube video. That's the level of Donald Trump, man. Anyway, so check out his YouTube channel, very interesting. Especially this time in and around China. But I don't know about you, me as a Westerner, I always grew up giving a shit about Hong Kong. You know, my priority when I was younger were far off territories that the British Empire had conquered and was still trying to hold on to. You know, I thought colonialism had fucking ended, but nah, it's just under the table, wasn't it? Oh no, sorry, it's called the Commonwealth. So that's that dude. Here's the BBC, Hong Kong Security Bill backed by China Parliament. So, over here, now this is what I mean by, I'm not a fan, I'm just not an enemy of the Chinese Communist Party. Because when I see the West pointing at China and going, look how stinky they are, look what they're doing, you're going, right, what are they doing? Let's have a wee listen, what are they doing? Law will criminalise conduct.
It permits China's national democracy campaigners fear could be used.
Oh my God, it's almost like the UK's anti-terrorism laws. I mean, I remember when the coronavirus kicked out in China, they were pointing at China going, oh my God, they've locked people down. Then it happened over here like, hey, get your pots and pans out, woo! You know what I mean? I just can't, I can't fail to be objective. And just because it's a bunch of commies running China. And let's not forget who's the enemy of the Chinese Communist Party. And I don't think it's because they're communists. I think it's because of who they've stood up against and won. Hong Kong being one example. Even just the continent of China. This is where you need to know your geopolitics a wee bit. It helps you fill in the blanks. Go and look at Taiwan, how Taiwan was created after World War II and all that jazz. And how they claim to be the real China. When they're just West's China. You know, it's not China. And then the China decided to be commies. And capitalists can't have that. Because the idea might catch on. And all these big fat cats from Europe and America who made big massive piles of money and power during colonial times when they were bouncing about the world, raping and pillaging every fucking corner of it. They are the capitalist society, the democracy scam, which props that up, will just keep it propped up. Because all they need to do is just buy enough people to vote for them, and they can afford to buy 16 million people, unfortunately, if it keeps them on top. Anyway, so, again, apply what the BBC are doing to China to what the UK and America and everything's doing. I mean, look what's happening in America right now. Can you imagine that stuff was happening in China? You would see that. You'd know all about that. Tiananmen Square wasn't even as bad as some of the scenes coming out of the America right now, with them shooting people standing on their porches, light them up. I've never heard that coming from police ever. That's military talk, innit? Light them up. God almighty. Oh, here's our favourite TR fan.
Riots in America are nothing like Hong Kong.
Of course. The Hong Kong riots are like good. Woohoo! Come on, freedoms. Woo! But American riots, bad, because they're standing up against, they don't like Trump. Woo! You know, this is like, this guy stands up and says he's objective and independent. This is boom-proof evidence. It is just slanted news.
And comparing the two is bloody disgraceful. Hong Kongers have been protesting for about a year now. Now they're fighting for freedom from communist China under the constant and real threat of state-sanctioned police brutality. What we're seeing in America at the moment is nothing.
Hold on, folks. I'm doing a quick sound modification. Now, beware your ears, it might sound funny for 2 seconds. Right. One, two. Hey, should be a bit better. Apparently you can hear my corona nose.
Alike. What happened to George Floyd is horrible, and it's absolutely inexcusable. But it's no justification for Antifa extremists to tear down everything that is American. In fact, everything Hong Kongers are fighting to obtain. So when I see activists like Drew Pavlo draw any comparison between the two, he undermines...
Well, it's kind of like one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, you know? One man's riot is one man's good riot is another man's bad riot.
The legitimate cause Hong Kongers are fighting, bleeding and dying for. Drew, you cannot compare the US police to the Hong Kong police. Let me ask you a simple question. How many police in Hong Kong have been punished for their brutality? I'll let you know. A big fat freaking zero.
Have they sat on somebody's neck and crushed it into the ground? I'm sure if that had happened, Tommy Robinson doesn't give a crap about Hong Kong. He's still chasing Mohammed pedos about Britain. But you would have been all over it, have you? And I haven't seen any Hong Kong cops snap anybody's neck.
And now already in the US, George Floyd's killer is facing murder charges. Now I'm not saying that some cops are not corrupt. There are corrupt cops here in the US, Britain, all over the West. but the vast majority are good. They're just doing their job. In fact, many of which stand with Hong Kong against police brutality there. Cops here and in the States are often held to account. Just take, for example...
Now, this is where he's full of shit. Cops never, or very rarely, get held accountable for killing people while taking them into custody. This is well known. It's not even well known. The stats tell this out. Let me see. Known deaths in UK custody. Because this in UK police custody. Because this is well spoke about. Let's just have a wee look at this and see what it's saying. So, Avi Yemeni, like, fake news and you're full of shite, mate. You know? Police in the UK, I don't know about America, right? The only ones I've ever heard getting held accountable are the ones that get caught in camera, crushing people's skulls in, and it's pretty undeniable they crushed the guy's skull in. But if it doesn't get caught in camera, the cops ain't going to stick each other in. They're all going to back each other up. And then the independent police investigative mob, who are always run by ex-cops. Up here in Scotland, it's scarier. We've got one police force. One police force for 6 million people, call it. And one political dictatorship. But hey, Zeke Howell Sturgeon, man. 7 people. Right. I'm going to have to check this out. But if you go and look how many police... well, hold on, I'll get that. Police charged with murdering suspects in custody, UK stats. How long? Well, 460 people have died in UK custody since 1990. So 30 years, 460 people have died. Right, here we go. Let's see if we can count this. So, I believe... Oh God, do you know what? I'm not going to just sit and that's the most horrible thing to do during a live stream, but you kind of get my point, and if he's like Anthony, you should go and check that all out yourself. It's very rarely that cops get held properly accountable for what can be perceived to be murdering people in custody. It's hard to prove, isn't it? But anyway, let's get back to Lion Yemeni.
In Minnesota, the same police force at the center of this crisis. A couple of years ago, a black cop shot and killed an unarmed white Australian woman. He's now in jail. No one came out and rioted at the time. People understood he was a rotten egg. But in Hong Kong, the police force is spoiled from the top to the bottom. And they work at the behest of the Chinese Communist Party.
So that's why you hate them. It's not because of what they're doing, it's your political affiliations and the propaganda you're paid to spew out.
The kind of brutality George Floyd suffered is a daily occurrence in Hong Kong. The difference is that none of the perpetrators are ever held to account. The funny thing is, Drew, you're not alone. You're not the only person supporting these riots. You're in some great company. The CCP is also celebrating these protests via the Chinese state media. Drew, I know you're just a kid with no real life experience, so here's a quick tip. If you're protesting for freedom and the Communist Party of China starts supporting you, you're doing it wrong. And in case anyone is still not convinced,
if you're protesting for free gold bars for anybody and the Chinese like you, you're doing it wrong.
of the vast difference between America and Hong Kong at the moment, just take a look at how the supposed protesters are behaving in the US. In all my time spent at protests in Hong Kong, I've never, not even once, witnessed protesters looting. Because, you know, nothing says freedom more than robbing local businesses of shoes. The truth is, you can support what the protesters in America are fighting for or claim to be fighting for if you feel passionate about it. Just don't conflate it with Hong Kong. They are not the same thing.
That's you told off, okay? Riot good, riot bad. Good guy, good guy, good guy, wank. Got it? Good. Get it.
Not even close. If you support the work we do here at TR...
Nope. China has ended Hong Kong freedoms. You know, they were so free that the East India, the Brits entity, the corporation with pseudo-governmental powers, the East India Trading Corporation, took over this area of land and slaughtered enough people to then gain their loyalty. That's what happened. Not only that, do you know what else they done? They flooded the area with opium. They turned everybody into junkies as a way of like getting rid of the Chinese. And now America is overrun with synthetic heroin made in China. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic? Anyway, so China's fucked. China's mucking up Hong Kong. Oh, here's Donald.
After the CCP passed its so-called...
Oh, this is my
President
favorite.
Trump moves to make big policy changes between the US and Hong Kong. It comes after the CCP passed its so-called national security law.
It's so-called national security law. Just like America's so-called Patriot Act. And all the UK terror legislation. It's all there to make sure the people in power stay in power. That's what Chinese are doing, but somehow they're bad and we're good. No, these are both bad. These are both doing the same shit to control people. Some would argue China's even a bit more evenly balanced than the West.
China's latest push on
Definitely dragged more people out of poverty recently.
Hong Kong has sparked various responses, from humanitarian assistance to not considering sanctions. Here's how different countries are reacting. The Chinese Communist regime's mass spending on other countries has many believing it's rich, but China's premier revealed over 600 million Chinese live below the poverty line.
Right, hold on. The Chinese Communist Party, just to apply this logic, the Chinese Communist Party, how many? There's 1 billion people in China, and they're saying only 600 million are under the poverty line. And then, I don't know if you know what the poverty line is, a standard out there, people that live on X amount of dollars, less than X amount of dollars per day. So, for example, there could be 600 Chinamen sitting out there in the wilderness, because China's a big place, farming, doing all self-sufficient, living their old rural ways, but who are technically under the poverty line, but they could be living the life of Riley, but the world says they're no happy because they can't afford some Nikes, you know? But don't look at things that way. Don't look at things that way. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, this is my favourite.
China, as Beijing moves to implement a new national security law. Welcome back to China Uncensored.
Now, see when America is renewing the Patriot Act What, is it every year they need to do it? Is it yearly they need to renew it? Or Western countries, which he very much look and sounds like he's from. Typically you can tell with the accent, can't you? He sounds American to me. Or Canadian, one of the two. Can't tell the difference between those monkeys. And he doesn't talk about the Patriot Act, but as soon as the Chinese Communist Party starts to try and take back Hong Kong from Britain, after Britain stole it from China hundreds of years ago, his panties are in a bunch.
I'm Chris Chappell. This episode has been sponsored by Surfshark, because you should be using a reliable VPN whenever you go online, especially if you're in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, the Pearl of the Orient, a pearl that's currently being swallowed by the gaping maw of an ancient, once slumbering evil, the Chinese Communist Cthulhu.
Remember I was talking about trying to dehumanize and demonize your enemy? Ah, voila. Right, see that there, right? That's like a snapshot of the YouTube modern day version of, was it I think it was World War I propaganda when they put the German helmet on the big monkey and it had a big club and it had a woman over its shoulder or something, you know? And it was like the German barbarians coming to rape your women and stuff. It's the modern day version. Modern day version of the political cartoon, the political graffiti on the walls of Rome.
That's not me saying that. It's the US State Department. Okay, they said it in slightly less colorful language. According to the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act, each year the State Department has to tell Congress whether Hong Kong is sufficiently autonomous from China to justify its unique treatment. This week, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told Congress that no reasonable person can assert today that Hong Kong maintains a high degree of autonomy from China, given facts on the ground. That is huge. Not this huge, but it's significant. Pompeo made that statement on May 27th, a week after Beijing suddenly announced that the National People's Congress, or NPC, would look at passing a national security law for Hong Kong. The law would ban secession, subversion of state power, foreign interference, and terrorism. Now, all that would not be quite as scary if we were talking about a liberal democracy.
But we're talking about China. See, that wouldn't be scary if America was doing it, or the Brits were doing it, or anybody in the West were doing it. It's only scary when China does it. Oh. Alright, that was me checking out Arata stuff. So that was the Hong Kong Fooey. Let's have a wee look at other areas of pressure getting applied to China. Who started the war?
The US and China are on the brink of a new Cold War.
Yeah!
But who started it?
Who farted
and what
first?
are Western media getting wrong? Welcome back to China Uncensored.
What are Western media getting wrong? Hello, China Uncovered. Yeah, you're Western media, mate. Like, this is what I love about all this stuff on YouTube. Like, we're the resistance, we're the underground, we're the alternative. I can remember 10 years ago, Alex Jones was talking about how the pendulum was swinging and more people were getting their information through the internet. And it's went full circle now. It's definitely more people on the planet getting, well, certain countries anyway, getting their information from the internet than the old forum TV. So, this guy's mainstream media pretending, hey, underground.
I'm Chris Chappell. Last week, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi warned the U.S. against taking the U.S. and China to the brink of a new Cold War. Yes, As the US government increasingly calls out the Chinese Communist Party, there is growing...
I wonder if channels like this are part of the Western propaganda against China in the run-up to this new Cold War. Huh? I don't know about you. Why is there a English-speaking guy, ball deep for years, with over 1 million subscribers, independently talking about how stinky China is constantly? And hey, when we bring in terrorism laws, all gravy, baby. But when China does it, no, 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 no.
Growing concern among Western media over the idea of a new Cold War. For example, this article saying that a new Cold War could devastate the global economy. Why is it happening now? Well, it's because...
Hold on. This is the Western media that you're using to paint your narrative that you just told us is getting it all wrong. So they're getting it wrong everywhere else, apart from these few wee snippets that he's shown us.
Because of the coronavirus pandemic. No, wait, it's because of Hong Kong.
More Western media.
The important thing is, a new Cold War has begun. It's already underway. And who started this whole Cold War anyway? Did Trump ignite a Cold War with China to win the election? Or did the...
I think Trump could have started it with the run-up to his election win when he ran on a ticket of going after China.
New Cold War start in Beijing.
Then some would say he started a trade and currency war with China after he got elected. And then some would say, as historical patterns would have it, after a currency and trade war, typically comes some sort of kinetic war.
Look, the answer to that is clear. Everybody knows that whoever smelt it, dealt it. Unless whoever denied it,
supplied it.
Obviously. Now, the idea that the US and China are heading to or are already in some kind of Cold War isn't new. In fact, we did an episode on Cold War II almost 2 years ago.
Oh man, 2 years ago you were kind of predicting the Cold War that's now just kicked off of Donald Trump. It's almost like you're kind of there, like, as part of the Western information war against China. Prepare for war, bitches.
China must prepare for war, according to Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And Indian and Chinese troops mass on a disputed border.
Woo!
That and more on this week's China News headlines.
So China are getting they're getting attacks on multiple fronts. Let's say that what's happening in Hong Kong is one, what's happening in the South China Sea is another, and what's happening in India is another. Let's say what's happening with the trade war is another, and what's happening with the currency war is another. There's 5 fronts that the West is attacking China on.
This is China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Chinese leader Xi Jinping has told troops to prepare for war. So, I guess Xi Jinping is no longer going with the stronger international cooperation line anymore. Now, to be fair, this is not the first time Xi has told troops to prepare for war. He does it every so often. This time, Xi Jinping didn't say specifically...
Fuck, well, I sort of just said, well, this whole thing set up here that he's telling people to prepare for war and like our big massive title here, kind of say it all the time. Oh, here's Avi Yemeni living in China.
Guys, today's going to be a fun one. Why? Because China's foreign ministry has decided to hold a press conference to let the world know how they feel about the riots in America. Let's have a listen.
Black lives matter. Their human rights need to be guaranteed.
I knew this was going to be...
What's so funny about that?
Funny, I didn't realize how funny this was going to be. So now you're telling me China, you guys are telling the world that black lives matter and their human rights need to be protected. This is coming from the country that within the last month, how many Africans have been kicked out on the streets, have lost their businesses, have been bashed on the streets in China. But let's keep watching.
Racial discrimination against minorities is chronic sickness in American society.
Holy crap! A chronic sickness in the American society. You got over 1 million Uyghurs in concentration camps.
Right, so again, you've got like, they're more racist than we are. Well, these are both racist, man. What's good for one is good for the other.
India today was the first to put out satellite images that showed Chinese buildup along the LAC and how India has been matching China at every step. Latest pictures also show Chinese presence in the Pangong Tso area. Here's also part 5 of India Today's series of exclusives on the India-China standoff.
Like a computer game. I think I played this last week. Was it Rainbow Six?
Straight here now we've got the India-China standoff.
Yeah.
And as you can
Gotta love the jungle surfer.
see, it's a bit like the other stuff going on in America here. And there, and now in London. The one in London
Be some sort of conspiracy.
got a whole lot of volunteers. That's what they can do over in England. 'Cause people are just bored and they'll go out for a bit of a protest. But in America, everyone has to travel around by car, you know, they don't walk very far. And as you can see, very small crowds. This little business is a little brew up, another in the whole, you know, Shakespearean novel that we're living under. And I'll play a bit more here. The intense music is fantastic.
I do love that. But there's conflict. There's areas of the world where China, another front, China is getting attacked on or attacking people, whatever way you want to look at it. CCP
The
spreads
Chinese
it.
regime issuing a response 3 days after Trump declared an end to Hong Kong's special status, Beijing saying there will be retaliation. In the middle of escalating tensions over the Hong Kong issue, the U.S. government is reportedly selling their consulate housing there. Senator
It'll be interesting fact. Look at the American flag and the British East India Company flag, and then ask yourself the question why America right now and its entities and the alliances and business interests, kind of the Anglo-American alliance, why they're sticking up so much for Hong Kong.
Ben Sass wants the U.S. to grant asylum to people in Hong Kong. He revealed his plans for new legislation over the weekend. Chinese state media taking a mocking tone over the sometimes violent protests over George Floyd's death, calling...
Oh my god, the Chinas are mocking America. Here, I'll be honest, that is news. It's newsworthy because I was always led to believe that China people didn't have a sense of humour. But I'm going to take that as fact because it's obviously an English-speaking thing telling me about China, so I'm going to believe that. So that's one of the... It's lying, but this wee bit fits in with my view. And I'm going to, believe now that China people have a sense of humour. So when you think they've got funny names, don't worry about it too much. So there's Hong Kong and the war in China. Kind of the same thing. Now, I don't want to sit here and just play all the gaffes for Joe Biden. That isn't the points here, right? It's just the echo chamber of the... I don't know if people... I don't think people understand how much this kind of passing around memes, you know, the meme that Joe Biden's a dribbling vegetable, like the same meme they done with Hillary Clinton up to the run up to the previous election. It worked so well with Clinton, they're trying to do the same with Biden. And I don't know how much people understand how they're participating in a Trump echo chamber, a Trump meme put out there to help him get elected in the run up to the election. Whether you think Joe Biden's a dribbling idiot or not, which I don't think's true. I don't think anybody should vote at all, but anyway. So, just the massive echo chamber of all this one thing. Joe Biden, centre secretly taking money from China. Oh, he's a Chinese commie. The progressive voice. Now, this guy, I think, considers himself to be on the left or centre. He loved Bernie Sanders in the primaries and stuff. And now, if you touch base with his channel, he never really says much criticising Trump, but he's constantly pointing at how... And he doesn't actually shit his pants
You
here.
probably remember Fartgate with Eric Swalwell and...
Fuck it, right, let's see if we can...
I just, you know, it just becomes so suggestive. He's pushing his chair 1,000 years old. When you're 9,000 around, it all ends up, those are your three options.
Alright, hold on, where is it here?
It's reactions like, whoa, what was that? So go ahead and check this out.
Programs. Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost programs? Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost...
To be quite honest with you, I really don't know whether or not he farted or sharted.
To be quite honest with you, it could be anything, a million and one things. And to be honest with you, like, people now passing that around, as funny as it is, and it is funny, that's why it will get passed around, but it's like political cartoons. If they're funny, people will pass them around. And in the run-up to an election, it helps one side or the other. That's what they're designed to do. And this is the modern-day version of it. Whether him shitting his pants is real, or whether it's a noise in the chair, a shuffle with the paper, it could be numerous things. But here's a new story for you. People fart. But in the run-up to election, and the Sleepy Joe meme that's getting pumped out right now. Right, now here's Sky News from Joe Biden. Here's 21 minutes. Right. Go and watch maybe 21 minutes of Joe Biden. Away from internet land and all the wee small snippets of him fucking up and things getting took out of context and stuff. And you might think he's not a dribbling vegetable. He might be a bad public speaker and all that jazz.
They speak to a nation where too often just the color of your skin puts your life at risk. They speak to a nation where more than 100,000 people...
I'm not suggesting, I've got questions. Was the murder of George Lloyd racist? I mean, like, I'm pretty sure similar things have happened to white dudes. Is it just the fact that more... I don't even know. Americans know. I don't.
have lost their lives to the virus, and 40 million have filed for unemployment, with a disproportionate number of those deaths and job losses concentrated.
Right, so you can go and watch Joe Biden for 21 solid minutes, and he isn't a dribbling vegetable. And I'm not telling you to vote for him. Don't vote. I think voting's a waste of time, which I'll get to later. Biden beating Biden. Right, let's listen to this. It's a tense...
I'm prepared to say that
Notice, there is no context as to what he says previous.
I have a record of over 40 years, and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Now, what do you hear there? What do you hear there? You're probably... I hear, I'm going to B-E Joe Biden. And they've suggested, cause with the power of suggestion, you could say maybe he said beat Joe Biden. But the reason they don't show you the bit from before that is because if you hear the bit from before it, it doesn't sound like beat Joe Biden. It sounds like I've got a record of 40 years. I'm just going to be Joe Biden. Makes perfect sense. So when you see people repeating this, ask them to go and look at the clip in its entirety and understand that they're just helping Trump get elected. If that's what they want to do, fair play, but don't sit up there and pretend you're being an independent journalist telling us the truth by throwing around propaganda tactics in the run-up to an election, kidding on you're an independent journalist, because it doesn't work that way. Anyway, so that was Sleepy Joe. Now let's have a look at Trump Pool. Tim Pool, the baldy fool. This guy can't put any... See, if Trump was to write this guy's script, or Trump's campaign, they wouldn't be able to write a better campaign script than Tim Pool. Pass yourself off as a non-Trump supporter. You're a libertarian, liberal, left of centre, bullcrap, fucking whatever, however they spin it. And then just pump out pro-Trump messaging to try and reach the demographic that you're kind of set up to suck in. and switched them over to kind of Trump's way of thinking.
Results in Patterson vote plagued by fraud claims.
Trump is right. Right, so YouTube, a private company, deciding what they do and do not want on their own platform. Bad. This is the dimension we're going into. This is how the fascists are going to do it, folks. It's happening over on Trump right now with all this chaos. The Trump supporters and what they're supporting. It's fucking authoritarian dictatorship. Imagine Obama threatened to bring the military out in the fucking streets. See all the mob that are cheering on Trump right now? They would have wet their fucking knickers. So, Twitter, YouTube, bad for deciding what they want on their platform. Trump, as a president, not a private company, trying to dictate what private entities can and cannot and force them to publish things they don't want to. Whew. Good. In these people's heads, it's upside down, people. They've managed to con people into thinking they're fighting for something that they're not. So, private companies who you're free and free not to engage with, bad for saying who they can and cannot, and bad for saying what they do and do not want on their own platform, because they're selling, it's their business model, it's their advertisers, so on and so forth. Now, they're trying to paint Trump as a good man for going after social media censorship of private companies by the government as a good thing. These people fucking nuts. And what's scary is the amount of people that like how easy it is to like get people convinced in this bullcrap narrative. Who would they believe? Little baldy Tim Pool that worked for Rupert Murdoch's Vice magazine, you know? Trump set to sign executive order over social media censorship. So, social media, private companies, like let's say a bakery deciding if they want to bake a gay cake or not. Good. Because they're a private company, they should decide who they can and cannot do business with, because social media companies are businesses. Trump, as a president of a country, dictating to these companies what they should and should not publish, good. It's really need to get your Spock heads on when you're thinking about this, folks, man, before you let whatever cult you might have gravitated to or whatever talking heads you may trust more than others sway your favour. Say what you see, man. And Donald Trump is decloaking. This is fucking scary shit. What he's doing, man. Right, anyway, that was Tim. Oh, fuck, here's the US chaos. God almighty, check this out, man. This is Mad Max stuff. Alright, I wanted to show this earlier. Many people over many decades and millennia have used the tactic of like guerrilla warfare. Robert the Bruce was famous for it back in the day. That's how he kinda won. Robert the Bruce was famous for it back in the day. That's how he won all these battles. Touching back on elements from the BMP and back once again with the Renegade Master. Sorry, Deep State Illuminati. What can I say? Right. So the tactic of guerrilla warfare, terrorism, let's say, isn't new. So the process of using riots by everybody, by all sides, to further their own goals and agendas is not new. Now, I wanted to show this when I was talking about all the BMP elements who now masquerade with knights, using a lot of Knights Templar symbolism and all that. So the hark back to a lot of the Knights Templars history and legends and stuff. And one of the legends of the Knights Templar is that was their military know-how that helped Robert the Bruce win with less men against the English using guerrilla warfare, terrorism, hit and runs, whatever you want to call it. Even I believe the desert rats in North Africa done that back in the war as well. So groups on the left, groups on the right, I believe will use this kind of tactic. I would urge people not to try and get it's hard when you witness all this shit, but not get caught up with the
Well, John, I am standing here outside.
The emotions of it all. That's
A crowd
what
of several hundred protesters is gathered here behind me. They're holding banners. They are currently, as we stand here, crying out the name of George Floyd. They're kneeling down on one knee in his memory. I think you can see there.
Right, like surely, but I remember back in the day, the protesters would go, "We want more pay. We want more pay. We don't want that. We want this. Nowadays it's ragamuffin style. I don't know, it's just random meaningless chants. It don't really mean anything. Because if protesters are protesting something, go, these are our demands. Can this what protesting is meant to be about? Isn't it to petition the government to address grievances? I think that's a commonly used definition. So what are their grievances? Right, that cop killed that guy. It's surely got to be debatable and investigated whether it was because of a racist system or racism or what have you. I mean, people die of police brutality all the time. What makes this one able to unite a race war, you know? I think it was because of the visuals of it, to be honest, because it looked so fucking horrible, that cop murdering that guy. So you would hope that the protesters would get their wants, this cop would get banged to rights, the other cops that were standing around, not willing to go against their colleague, should get banged to rights as well. Maybe the protesters should demand, I don't know, some sort of an independent body to investigate all police deaths or something. I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hip here, you know. But how can you turn up and protest when you've got no demands? And why is there George Floyd protests in the UK? Now, I'm not saying people in the UK shouldn't have sympathy for George Floyd, or I don't see why we wouldn't. But I don't see why we would then be protesting what? Who? For demanding what? Why would UK citizens protest to demand what from whom? I don't get it. Unless it's political arseholes using it to further their agendas. Or
very clearly in front of them, a new long black fence that has been erected unbelievably overnight by the White House. Symbolic really of the moment and of the president's speech overnight, which wasn't in any way open and inclusive, reaching out to the people in a way of healing. It was instead a threat, really. He threatened a federal crackdown on cities and states that didn't immediately bring in...
If my governors don't clean this muck up, I'm going to send in the army. Now, people aren't making this up. That's what Trump says. Why the hell is Alex Jones and all your New World Order soldiers out there fighting the tyranny? Martial law, false flag. Why are they not wetting their feckin' knickers over Trump saying that? Like, it's at times like this, I've said it before in the past, it's like times like this, crises and run up to elections, even better, a mixture of two, that people's true colours and agendas become so apparent, it's laughable. It's like you can't watch Trump on the mainstream media right now. They won't show you more than 15, 20, 30 seconds of him saying anything, because they need to make it look uber negative in the run up to an election, because they don't want Trump to look good. And the same goes with the media that Trump controls. The independent media. Anyway, that was just what's going on there. Oh, here's...
One activist is urging demonstrators to, quote, come up with a better way as anger over George Floyd's death mounts nationwide. This video of an exchange in Charlotte, North Carolina went viral over the weekend. It shows Curtis Hayes bringing together 3 generations as he confronts a 45-year-old protester who said he was ready to die to stop injustice against Black Americans. Hayes then turned to a teenage protester with a powerful message.
Let me tell you something. That's the problem that we got. That you see right now, it's gonna happen 10 years from now. And at 26.
At first I thought this was a WWF wrestling match, but apparently this is just Americans. All Americans go down and Alex, oh, yeah, Richie from Boston, Alex Jones, root when they're like all fired up and shit.
You're gonna be doing the same thing I'm doing. You understand that? 10 years. You're gonna be right here too. But he also got. So what I need y'all to do right now at 16 is come up with a better way. Cause how we doing it, it ain't working.
Ding! That sound makes sense.
He angry at 46. I'm angry at 30.
Running around smashing shit up without any real protest and demands. It isn't working.
You angry at 16. It's over, you understand me? Putting yourself in harm's way is not the way. No, it's not. You.
What? I think we found that out during World War I. You know, when all the sleep, when you get chaps at your door and get conscripted to go to the front line because you were a poor bastard, and the rich cunts down might go and fight for keep their their corporations in power, and then they would go, I see that German machine gun nest. Charge! And if you did charge at it, high percentage of chance you'd just get machine gunned down. And if you didn't charge, your own side would shoot you in the head and call you a coward.
And then other your counterparts the same age and that.
So I'm pretty sure these kind of speeches might have been going on in the trenches in World War I. I can imagine it. Imagine poor bastards like, oh fuck, we need to run towards a fucking machine gun nest for a fucking king and country that fucking treats us like shite.
That same power. Y'all come up with a better way.
That was.
Now we got this guy here. So we all need to come up with a better way, man. Does that not make sense? It's like, is it all this doing what we're doing and all that? Well, I've got an idea, and it could be a better way, and I believe it so much I've actually done it. And it's vote us, not them. Right? Now, see what we're witnessing here all over America? Let me see, there must be a quite easy picture of this riot shit. See what we're seeing here in this America? The protesters always outnumber the cops, but the cops are well prepared, trained, tanked up, mobilised, organised, all round the country. Now, see for protests or anything genuine, a genuine mechanism to get rid or just to withdraw your consent from this system we've currently got, right? The mechanism the state that wants you to try is to gather en masse in cities like penned in feckin' rats and sheep for the slaughter. Because I don't know the exact numbers, but if you get 10,000 protesters all in one big area, you only need like 1,000 cops with batons and some guns, bombs and bullets to stop them. Right? But what if people check? Like, imagine the amount of people that are bouncing around fucking following Tommy Robinson's cult, following Paul Golding's cult, all gaslit with all the wrongs in society, following Alex Jones's cult, following Antifa's cult, following that cult, this cult. What if we all just went, like, listen, we can all agree things aren't, a 2-year-old could design a better country. So is there a genuine mechanism that the powers that be couldn't stop, which would drop the facade that their rules, that they rule us and police us by consent? Because I don't believe that to be true. That's fable flung out there that they use to make China seem bad and us seem good, when we aren't governed and policed by consent. They use the democracy scam to say that, because the people in power are voted by the people, apparently, when there's only when a democracy is constantly, in every Western democracy, ruled by minority, which I explained earlier on. So I've held my own election. I've done this. This is a mechanism that the powers that be couldn't stop. If all the people that wanted to change the system at the time of a general election, instead of voting in the government-sanctioned box, everybody, instead of piling into the cities, piling into one big place, piling into big mass groups, if everybody just went to their local polling booths, no violence, no nothing, just sat there with a shoebox and a hole in it and tried to get people to vote in our box instead of their box, then the people who say this is our box can no longer stand up in front of us and say we rule and govern you by consent. So the whole illusion of this fucked up democratic system, which keeps the fat cats on top and no mechanism for the poor people to address that and balance, would be gone. They wouldn't back down peacefully, I understand that, but they would also not be able to police it. They don't have the numbers to send out enough of their foot soldiers to every polling station in the UK. So it's not one big mass riot, revolution, protest you need. It's everybody doing it on a local level and demanding back control on a local level. That is what they couldn't stop. That is what they would even have to mobilise the army for. And even then, they wouldn't have the numbers to police it. You couldn't police a mass revolution in local areas with the numbers and all that, the amount of riot, because they wouldn't know where to go. They would focus all their cops on one wee bit to get one thing shut down, and they would just need to go around another one that would just keep popping back up. You know, it'd be unpoliceable, I think. It'd be unstoppable if that idea, which transcends left, right, all this bullshit that's got us all fucking at each other's throat, and just with a simple principle, we can do better. I would lock children up and get them to design the system. But in order for us to create a new system, we have to agree that, well, I don't know, the majority would have to come together and go, we don't want this. You ain't got our consent. We ain't giving you our consent. So we're going to hold our own elections. And I've done that. That's why I'm the founding father of Estonia. None of this is my name. But hey ho. And it's a kind of like, see, just getting my way in that train of thinking. Like, I was no longer fighting the system, you know, because you can't win. But I took myself out of it, if that made sense, morally anyway, by holding my own election. And how quickly things change. But I was talking to somebody about this today, and it's obviously too batshit crazy, and people don't agree with me. It doesn't bring around a right-wing fascist paradise. It doesn't bring around a left-wing fascist paradise. It hopes everybody can get together and compromise a wee bit, you know, and get some sort of a system up and going. It's a hell of a lot fairer than we've got right now, and we can all kind of agree on. You know, that's what somebody who wanted to bring society together would be promoting. Not all this ideology, like fucking extreme ideologies that to fit in nowadays anywhere you have to subscribe to. Have to. Anyway, so there was me back in 2016, standing up, using my freedom of speech, not on the YouTubes, because they could knock me down any time, but I can stand in public on my soapbox and say what I want. Anyway, what difference 4 years makes. Let's look at Stump.
But keep in mind, Anderson, and you're watching this video now of the president walking through Lafayette Park. You know, this is a park where the protesters have been lined up for days now, protesting against the death of George Floyd, and it was just completely emptied out. It's just extraordinary what was done here. And just to echo what Alex Marquardt was saying, you know, we've had this discussion over the last couple of hours of the president potentially using the Insurrection Act of 1807 to help quell a domestic disturbance. That's not what occurred here. They were
Jim,
used to create a photo opportunity for the president
Jim,
so
and
he
this
could
photo
hold up a
opportunity,
Bible.
Jim, this photo opportunity, he didn't even know what to do once he got there. This thing was so badly thought out.
This was ham-handed, no question about it.
I mean,
this was bad reality television. This wasn't even good reality television. And the sad state of affairs that we're dealing with tonight in the nation's capital, Anderson, is that we have now...
Sad reality is what CNN is saying there is worth listening to, but then they get no self... Well, they're obviously from the opposite side of the argument, but then they'll try and portray themselves as being fair and balanced, you know, and like would never call Hillary Clinton or Obama out for any of their PR stunts. I mean, right now we're watching at a time where, for some reason, ex-President Obama is getting more airtime on a lot of the Western mainstream media than the president himself, which is quite funny.
Witnessed the president of the United States operating outside the bounds of U.S. law and the tradition of what we know to be our democracy, which is the United States government does not use the military against civilians in this country unless there's a damn good reason. And this just wasn't a damn...
So you had to caveat it, unless there's a damn good reason, because it's been done before, I think. Different levels, you know.
Damn good reason.
I'm pretty sure Alex Jones was even wetting his knickers about martial law when the military went and helped in Hurricane Katrina? Something like that, if my memory serves me right. But I bet you Alex Jones isn't wetting his knickers about this.
And all we ended up with was what the President of the United States looking like a wannabe dictator. Right. So he could walk over to a church and pretend to be...
The face, it's like Jim Dawson selling a Bible. Hey man, look, this Bible it's made out of leather and paper. It's also got words in it. Look, oh, best Bible ever.
Concerned about the church. It's just a sad... It's
like in some small country that's taken over by some low-level lieutenant, low-level colonel who gets on the airwaves, declares himself a law and order president, and then, has a big show of a photo op, but there's no there because the church is closed.
Where did this there start? Who started with this there? What does it actually mean?
And he's just standing there with the Bible. What is the defense secretary? What is Barr doing? What's the attorney general doing? Walking over with this? Why is there a uniformed military person walking behind the president, going over there?
Maybe they just fancied a walk. Maybe they haven't had their hours exercise since the lockdown.
Like it's this mob.
It's a very good question, Anderson, and the Defense Secretary, Mark Esper, was talking about this earlier today and talking about these protests as battle spaces, as if the people in these areas protesting are enemy targets. They're not. They're American citizens. Right. And on top of that, you asked about the Attorney General. I snapped a picture of the president walking out with Jared and Ivanka and all of these officials, and Bill Barr,
Now let's get to Trump maybe talking a wee bit about, which Alex Jones back in the day would have said is definitely civil war in America. I've got it somewhere. Look at this intersection here. This is the fucking world. What's going on? Now, this is mob mentality. What the hell do they expect this big oil tanker driver to do when there's hundreds of people surrounding him, baying for his blood? Just stay there and wait to get killed. He's going to obviously try and escape. Look, this is just one big fecked up situation. I don't know how it started. I don't know how it ended. It's just messed up. It's FUBAR, man. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just craziness. This shit shouldn't be happening. Anyway.
You're outside the White House where Donald Trump is about to...
damn Australians.
It's getting a bit tense.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We've just had to run about a block as police moved in. We've been fired at with rubber bullets. My cameraman has been hit. We've also seen tear gas being used. Here we go. They're moving through again. This is exactly what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like. We're just staying safely.
Oh. Whoa.
Don't even think we've seen scenes like that coming out of Hong Kong.
Oh.
Amelia, can you hear us?
Amelia, are you okay? Or your cameraman? Hello, Amelia. The police just charged at Amelia and our 7 News cameraman there, and looks like a policeman just
punched him. I mean, I don't think I've seen this happening in Hong Kong. To disperse protesters and all that. Maybe I wasn't watching enough of Avi Yemeni's channel. So that's like a police helicopter. Try to fly so low to disperse people. Now, I'm thinking this could be doctored or faked, right? Because it's unambiguous. I'm not saying this couldn't happen. I'm just saying this bit of footage. Now, say for example, with the recent rumours, or the recent theories of the bricks getting laid around deliberately to fuel the protests and turn them violent. Somebody could have found this footage, or just, it could be for years ago. Right? It could be anything. But it can be interpreted as maybe cops having a couple of bricks in their back. But it says police unloading truck full of bricks during... Well, it doesn't really show that. Alright. Now, the audio could be put over it after the fact. I'm just exploring all avenues here. But is that cops with bricks?
Yeah, those are fucking bricks. What the fuck? They're collecting all the loose bricks so that the protesters don't fucking use them, dude. That's what they're doing. They're doing that for undercover police officers that are getting involved in the protests. So that
does that look like bricks to you? No, can you really tell?
So,
can you tell at that? Hold on.
What the fuck are those?
Those look like bricks. Look, yeah, those are fucking bricks. What the fuck? They're collecting all the loose bricks so that the protesters don't fucking use them, dude. That's what they're doing.
Oh, they're collecting all those bricks so the protesters don't use them. Is that what he said there? Is that what he said there? I'm pretty sure. Listen carefully.
Look, yeah, those are fucking bricks. What the fuck?
Could they be putting the bricks in the back?
They're collecting all the loose bricks so that the protesters don't fucking use them.
Right, so the guy that's videoing it says they're collecting the bricks so the protesters don't use them. That's his interpretation of what's going on here, if the audio's real and it's from that video. But it then gets took into conspiracy land and it's police unloading truck full of bricks. It certainly doesn't look like they're unloading a truck full of bricks. Who knows? But it's things like this that can just mean anything to anybody. It's RT watching the Hawks, just the usual stuff. Police car on fire. It's actually a quite good video, man. It shows you the whole thing blowing up. right? And the theory is there's too many things exploding out it, so it's been set up. Go and watch it. You can see the battery, you can see the wheels, you can see the fuel tank, and a few other things exploding in it. But who knows if the police set fire to their own van or not? There's just no way of knowing. This is what I wanted.
As Donald Trump addressed a nation in crisis, protests took place just beyond the Rose Garden's walls. The US president described the unrest as domestic terror, threatening to deploy the military.
Now, this is the way I'm interpreting it. People are using this crisis as a way of trying to damage Donald Trump in the run-up to the election. There's no doubt in my mind that that's happening. Donald Trump is kind of saying here to these governors of the states, if you don't manage to stop these protests because it's damaging Trump in the run-up to his election, he's going to send in the military to deal with this. So, right, hold on. You've got the American military, right? But then you've got the National Guard. I'm spitting ideas here. I don't know for sure. But then have you got the National Guard, which is controlled by the governor of the state, or is that controlled nationally by the army? So, who's the army going in there to fight? The protesters? And in fact, I'm going to have to check out Alex Jones and see what he's saying to all this. So let's see if you can hear Donald Trump threatening his governors to shut down these Antifa left-wing protests that are hurting me, or I'm sending in the military.
Today I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled.
Man, can you imagine that happening in China? Hong Kong even.
Earlier in the day, Trump berated governors, arguing they should crack down harder and make more arrests. Demonstrations have been taking place across the US, following the death of African-American George Floyd in police custody, reigniting anger over...
See, with her funny accent, it sounds like she says... She's saying African-American, but it sounds like she's saying African-American.
Demonstrations have been taking place across the US, following the death of African-American George...
Following the death of a frickin' American. That's so funny. Yeah, you got to find Uber on some of this stuff.
Have been taking place across the US, following the death of African-American George Floyd.
See, she's saying African-American, but if you suggest, like Joe Biden saying, beat Joe, when it was, I'm going to be Joe, you know? The power of suggestion. Now that I've suggested frickin' American, you can hear it clear as day.
Place across the US, following the death of African-American George Floyd in police custody.
Of a frickin' American. Oh, France 24, you have the best announcer ever. Oh, God, man. Here's more cars driving into folk.
So look at this. So this is in, we were told where this is in Brooklyn.
This is where Joe Rogan gets his news from.
So this is NYPD anyway. I don't know exactly where this is in New York City, but so then these people stop. So you figure the cop's like, all right, you got me.
So what's the big deal? They're all there.
You
What's
silly
the big
people.
deal? It's daylight.
And so this guy pulls up and he's like, no, look, I have to get home. I really have to go home. And that guy goes, me too. And then this guy goes, fuck it. That's shocking, no? This is pretty.
Why are they doing that against people?
How is this not shocking? How is this not? Oh, I'm sorry. That's
because cops do it all the time. Anybody like that? Like, have you ever seen people fighting when they've been in cars and all that? It's like you're in your fight or flight mode, and you're in a car. You want to get out of there because you perceive these people are going to start smashing your windows and come in and kill you. And I'm not justifying any of this shit that's happening. I'm just trying to be real about what's going on here. You can't turn up to fight somebody and then be surprised when everybody kicks into the fight and flight mode and starts fighting with each other. And see, when you're fighting and you're scared for your life, you'll pick up anything and use anything to protect yourself. Anyway, But there's Joe Rogan getting his news. Maybe he gets Joe Biden's a dribbling idiot from there as well. There's a CNN journalist getting...
playing out in Minneapolis. This is part of the advanced police presence that we saw come over the course of really minutes when the local police showed up at the fire department, or with the fire department.
So these are some crazy ass signs. And there's Trump Pool, Tim Pool. Again, these riots have been staged. They're all Antifa. They're a domestic terrorism organisation. Hong Kong riots. Freedom! Freedom! Anyway, it's just how you look at it. What's this? That's the arrest of the CNN reporter again. RT reporting on that. Oh God, look what this leads to, man. I'm personally against this guy, but see when you get polarised, and you get polarised and sucked into this argument that you dehumanise people and think they're demons, goblins, libertards, Antifa terrorists or whatever, it then enables this kind of behaviour because they feel that they're fighting with each other. So he's seen a guy in his neighbourhood standing with a sign, so he goes out his way and drives all this.
With the sign. Goddamn libtard.
Look how angry he is. He's clearly going to get out and beat him up.
Libtardarino. Fucking idiot. Piece of shit.
He's never met this guy before in his life. He just sees a guy standing with a sign, and whatever's on that sign might be not something he's agreeing with, and all this comes out.
This fucking moron. Dumb little fuckface.
I can't see his face.
Alright, let's tell him where to go. Fucking little piece of shit. Go fuck yourself! Dickhead!
Is that no the biggest, pussiest drive-by you've ever seen in your life? The guy probably couldn't even hear him swearing. He was so scared to actually slow down. I thought it was quite pathetic. But anyway, this is the kind of behaviour you get. Polarising politics. Oh God, you don't want to watch that. Details on your screen if you want to go and see it. This guy, lifeless after getting shit kicked out of him. And of course, there's the usual kind of, everything's a conspiracy, so George Floyd is a Mason, he didn't really get killed, it's all part of the New World Order, destabilisation agenda, and that was all crisis actors and a fake death and fake blood and fake EMS, because the guy's shoe isn't on right, and like people on YouTube are forensic experts and think it's a great idea to just run into realms of mad speculation whether George Floyd was a dummy. It's just bound to happen. And now the same sort of a stuff getting brought up everywhere else.
It started an argument between teenagers and police in Surrey Hills on Monday afternoon.
She swore, so what? If you got your police, you shouldn't be swearing at all.
But one alleged threat escalates the situation.
Crack you across the door, bro. What was that? What was that? What? Oi! What the f?
The 17-year-old was arrested before being taken to hospital for observation.
No, if you aren't race rioting in Australia yet, get on it, baby. Get on it. Get rid of that. The agenda revealed.
Hello everyone, it's Press. So, really quick video here, but huge information I'm about to get into. Now, first of all, though, big thanks to Know the New World Order for becoming a patron in the general.
Hey, I don't even know how you could just go down that the Freemasons done this. It's just the most craziest dot connecting stuff I've ever. But
I can't thank you enough. And thank you to all my patrons as well.
Let's look at some of the links for shits and giggles.
I read this story probably on Pornhub, guys. It's just weird. So he's like
It's weird. There's people that work in the sex industry. Big black guys work in the sex industry and unfortunately get murdered one day. It's just strange, y'all. It's Freemasonry symbolism.
Actor. Alright. He's friends with NBA stars. Like, really close friends with NBA stars.
Oh, man. Well, he's...
Oh.
So he was, I don't know, pictures with NBA stars. Definitely a Freemason then.
Okay. Coincidence, I guess. And oh, by the way, it also came out he worked at the same nightclub as Derek Chauvin, the cop that supposedly choked him out.
So that means he's a Freemason. Not that that cop killing him could have possibly been a personal vendetta. See, personally, I would like to look into, rather than like the whole world burning because of fucking race wars, I'd want to look into getting that cop appropriately charged and see if this was a personal vendetta, maybe? If he genuinely worked with this guy in a nightclub, I'm sure you could go and interview some of their fellow colleagues and see what their personal relationship was like. But no, the Freemasons done it.
They worked at the same nightclub at the same time. Months ago, too. Not a long time ago or anything. Months ago. Yeah. And I went over some of that. So, in other videos. Turns out Steven Jackson, his twin, his brother, former NBA star, is a Freemason.
Right, yeah. So who's a Freemason? I've already lost in the fucking bullshit of this conspiracy. So somebody is a Freemason, right? How is that fucking linked to George Floyd? I don't get it.
Yeah, go figure. Now, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about the Freemasons. The Freemason issue is a complex issue. But it is 100% true that there is a faction within Freemasonry, really high-level Freemasonry,
the Illuminati,
that controls things to a degree people wouldn't even imagine. This is why on the dollar bill you have Freemasonic symbolism.
No, you get that in a dollar bill because it's Freemasonic symbolism. It's universal symbolism for Freemasonry. It isn't just this wee elite clique. And I think you'll find the symbolism that was incorporated into Washington and all that was all Scottish Rite Freemasonry.
That being said, although Freemasonry is a complex issue, it's been co-opted and it's very, very bad now at the very top levels.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about...
I have this on good authority of my Illuminati.
your average, third degree Freemason or second degree Freemason down the street that does the local charity and plays cards with the boys once a month at the lodge. No, there's plenty of good people who are in Freemasonry. A majority of the Freemasons.
But this guy's bad because he was friends with George Floyd or something. Is this guy an NBA star? It's his NBA star's brother, and it was George Floyd that knew the NBA star. Is that, am I picking this up right?
Actually mean well, but at the very top, the top down, it's controlled by extremely evil, satanic people.
Well, fundamental Christians might believe that, aye. Anyway, somehow George Floyd's a Freemason because a Facebook page and that guy is a Freemason. Alright.
Tonio, God bless you. This is... You need to see this. You need to really see this.
This was before he was calling it a race war and all that, But... God, we've seen the truck thing. Well, good, that's enough of the American chaos. Fucking depressing. Let's laugh. This is quite funny. Right, that video that's there that's been removed is an Alex Jones video. Where Alex Jones, after seeing what this guy done, went out and done his same thing. Alex Jones now submits to the Royal Nazi COVID-19. Basically what Alex Jones done is put a mask on and went into a supermarket and filmed himself walking around acting like an idiot. I have no idea where he got the idea from.
It is freaking cold. David Lowe, and welcome to the... Making it better. Do not wear what they... Girls, I think I just burned my whiskers.
The description.
Aware of what they say about me, it doesn't matter. The only thing that you should care about is the homeland, the country, where you come from, where you live at. Making it better. Do not tolerate government.
Is this guy in a cult? Is this guy brainwashed? Is he insane? What is going on here?
And welcome to the greatest shit show on earth!
What scares me is the people that think this is great.
Okay, know it now. Who actually gives a damn about pushing back against tyranny as he tries in his own way to wake people up.
Watch him wake people up. Mockery style activism.
Counterfeit. Flinching spirit of freedom is so many people asking who.
Oh, come on, play.
What are you doing today to make a difference in your community? What are you doing today to wake up Americans in your world?
What are you doing today to try and turn people into the cult? What if people are just wanting to go around their business and deal with themselves? They don't want lunatics bouncing up and trying to force their Alex Jones shite down their throat.
What are you actually doing? What are you doing really to make a difference in your community? Are you out there protesting?
Or are you putting holes in your masks, a tinfoil hat on, and a pair of toilet roll goggles?
Are you making a difference? Got to go get some Benadryl today, and the sheep show continues to move forward here in the streets of America in my hometown. Welcome to the greatest shit show on earth. This is David Lowe. The stream seems clear. More propaganda and lies. I'm the killer of propaganda and lies.
Imagine you were in the supermarket and a lunatic started bouncing about like that. Seriously, see if a guy came up to you and started fucking getting on your face and going, it's fake, it's fake. I would have no problem with somebody laying him out right there and then.
Are you waking people up? What are you doing? What are you doing, everyone? What are you doing today to stop this foreign takeover that is going on? I don't support what's going on, but there are businesses in my community now that are opened and operating behind closed doors of the government. The government has literally made it illegal for you to operate your business, and people are putting up with this. They say Walmart can make famous. The sheep are still wandering. The agenda moves forward, people. Oh, yeah, they got the propaganda glass everywhere. It's a good thing to see a lot of people aren't going along with the hoax anymore, you know. The community has woken up. Oh, there's some sheep grazing in here. They're like, oh my God, we're still up. There's some big sheep moving. They're trying to hide. They're like, there's that guy with the cutout. There's that guy with the cutout. He's waking them up. Waking them up. Start calling your sheep.
But do you think that would wake anybody up? Maybe years ago when it was just this sheer bizarreness and funny in it to see it and stuff, we like kind of entertain you, and then some through just that weird slapstick entertainment that you get from watching this, the message would just drip in there. You know, maybe this lunatic's right.
Sheriff, start calling your city council members, start calling city officials. Call anybody you can to get their phone number, to get information to them that we're in a hoax. Okay, they have to start looking at the research. They have to start looking elsewhere.
Again, demanding. You have to do this. You have to read this. You have to look at the research. What you mean research, mate, is your selective bit of shite for fucking Infowars, no doubt. Which some people wouldn't consider research. Watching endless YouTube videos and social media, not research.
Information instead of the mainstream media. My favorite channel is CNN. They have the best propaganda and lies. Two sheepers right here, another Chappelle. They're everywhere. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha, you look like a sheep. There'll be 86 out at every Walmart in the world. They're pushing the agenda to the pharmacy too. Got to keep the fear going. Got to keep the fear going. Where is the, do you guys have any sheep feed here? I'm trying to find some.
It would be back in the pet department.
Oh. Look at the absurd news that they're posting about this whole Cove idiot situation. They've got people believing it, and then they got people that aren't believing it, and then they got people that are woke, and then they got people that want to do something about it, but they're not doing anything about it. Let's do something. Let's triumph over the government, people. That's what we have to do. Wake them up. Stop.
We have to do this, try to force everybody to go along with what he wants.
Spreading those rumors around. Stop spreading the lie.
Anyway, you get the general idea about that dude's doing, man. Fucking what a clown. That was Alex Jones's version of it.
Check it out, guys. MSNBC caught with their pants down.
Oh my God, it was him.
Total hypocrites, total mind control.
Total hypocrites, mind control. Don't go and look at what the experts are saying. You should. The benefits of wearing a mask are and aren't.
Managers of the United States population caught, busted. You see this reporter try to shame somebody for not wearing a mask walking by, and his little news report here. Meanwhile, his whole crew isn't wearing masks. His cameraman isn't wearing a mask. And he doesn't think that the audience will see this, of course, because his guy was priceless country.
Personal safety? I haven't met anybody who is. I met some folks actually from Lake Geneva who lived in the area. They were staying a few miles outside of town where I were, and they said they're worried about it. They're worried about that second spike. They're worried about folks in business. I think people here want a little bit more funding when it comes to these programs so that they could stay closed. But again, I think people felt like the Supreme Court made the decision here in Wisconsin that it was time.
Doesn't seem to be mocking people walking by without masks at all. Lots of people done that.
But you can see here, just around. Nobody's wearing them. Nobody's. There you go, including the cameraman. Yeah, Katie.
This guy. So his reaction is priceless. This guy in the jersey, the Green Bay Packers jersey, is like, "Yeah, nobody's wearing it, including your cameraman and your crew." Check it out. We have his video right here. I mean, absolute proof. Busted. Oh, 100%. And his.
What do you mean busted? He was just like talking about the observation that when you go out in public, the vast majority of people aren't wearing masks. Which is something I would say as well. Some people are wearing them, some people aren't. The people that are or aren't, I don't feel the necessity to run up and shove my shit down their throat. Call me crazy, but anyway. Masks are the sign of a new world order for some reason.
Scientific studies that show the health harms for healthcare workers wearing these masks. These are professional masks that are fitted, or they are cloth masks that are disposed of. They are put on in a hygienic manner in a sterile environment. We're not talking about an old scarf. But let's look at this. So someone wants to take care of themselves. They want to protect themselves. They go to the CDC.
Are they pretending that if you want to go and look at the information about masks, you can't get the pros and cons? Like, they genuinely don't even watch the news that they criticise if they're now coming out and saying that when I've heard experts talking about masks, they've approached the pros and cons. And they do, like, I don't know. I don't know why masks and the wearing of or the not wearing of is made into such a problem. That guy in America just showed that you can walk around Walmart, I think he said it was, without a mask on, without people putting a gun to your head. Right? He showed that. That's the reality over here in the UK, the bits that I've seen as well. You can walk around, nobody's going to try and impose a mask on or off you. It's a personal choice that you can make after giving and sucking in the information. But somehow, some way, the option of wearing a mask is New World Order tyranny. I don't get it. But anyway, that was the mask NPCs. Let's see some more of the funny corona clowness. The virus won't kill you, but the New World Order will. Anyway, based Amy.
Mr. Stasi Gestapo, filming 3 people minding their own business.
Watching me, watching you.
Okay, what about him? What about him?
We're together in
What
the
about
same
him?
car.
Oh, you're
We're in
together.
the same car.
Oh, so you don't mind sharing germs? You know it's a load of rubbish.
Give us 2
Okay,
meters.
I'm giving you 2
We'll do our
meters.
job.
The job is not to spy on people.
It's quite overt, isn't it? You can see what
Spy,
we're doing.
you're spying
Just
on
give us
people.
2 meters, please. Thank you very
I'm
much.
2 meters, dear.
Thank you.
Stasi Gestapo. You trying to get a job in China? Authoritarian states. Hi.
Okay, please don't call me a Nazi.
She said Stasi Gestapo. Sorry to defend Base Davy there. Slight difference. Same kind of principle she's getting at.
I'm not a Nazi. I take great offence to it. I also take great offence at being linked to the Chinese, okay? I'm a police officer and I'm trying to do my job. Do not tell me and do not tell me I'm a Nazi. Thank you very much.
You are. You're doing the job. The Nazis would be proud of you. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, that's what YouTube's good for, man. Wee small snippets of craziness like that. So it's just entertaining for me anyway. Down in England, you know, everybody that says that things would never be the same and the police will never take back their powers and all that kind of shit. It's kind of getting back to normal. When I've been out and about and stuff, I've no noticed cops bouncing about, rounding people up who aren't being idiots. To be quite honest, and the restrictions are getting eased, which leads me to believe what's the, like the people who believe this was a New World Order takeover for sure. When things go back to relative normality, and maybe nothing changes, and we don't get a virus, is all this New World Order conspiracy is just going to evolve into the next step, or it's happened and not? I don't know. Time, no doubtedly, will tell. Why do you want to kill Bill, everybody? Why does globalist Bill Gates want to block out the sun? I think it's a wee bit more complicated than that. But hey ho, if you want to run with Mr. Burns from The Simpsons to demonize demonize a man over the science, rather than the science over a man. Battering. Spotify. Well, I don't believe this to be true at all. But hey ho, it sounds great and it gets people to go over and follow Joe Rogan on Spotify. Spotify are loving it. I started that earlier on. I thought there would be more stuff coming out about Joe Rogan and Spotify. And he's fighting the censorship. Which he isn't really. Which just came out. Alex Jones' spin on it was a pile of shite. Are we winning the online media war, Vinnie Eastwood? Now, how could you make that kind of statement and include yourself in a big massive group that's fighting an information war online and consider yourself to be an independent journalist or objective or unbiased? He's admitting he's participating in an info war. Nice one, Alex Jones. And because of Alex Jones, we all know the first casualty of war is the truth. And that's why there is no truth in the information war. So batter in and fight in an imaginary war that you're participating in, but you're being independent. I'm an independent soldier, don't you know? I'm fighting for freedom. Anyway, I thought that was funny. And the guy's getting attacked by black helicopters.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, Vinnie Eastwood here. And we have a wonderful police chopper in the middle of the frickin' night. Again. Here he is.
Car being stolen, something like that. Who knows? Who knows? But I think I've got a picture of Vinnie Eastwood's house. Right? So, there's a picture of Vinnie Eastwood's house. Can anybody tell me why you might be able to film helicopters overhead other than it's black helicopters doing some deep state Illuminati stuff? You know, why would the cops fly over your house when they can tap into your phone and your interwebs? And don't you know I'm a master hacker, so I know all that shit.
Coming right over the top of us at like 9:30 at night.
Well, it's not even late. All the best car thieves in Glasgow aren't even out by that time.
Waking up my baby, waking me up, waking my wife up, waking the entire goddamn fucking neighborhood up. Fucking son of a bitch.
I'd hate to be in a mind space that any time a helicopter flew overhead, I was like, ah, they're watching me. But each to their own.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Vinny Eastwood here.
Oh, that's the same one, sorry. And I can't, there's a picture of his house, I can't think what might be happening here. So, are we slaves that are fighting the information war and the black choppers are all coming to see us? Just, my mind space, it was never that bad. I never thought fucking black helicopters overhead were coming to get me, to be quite honest. I'll share a link for this. This is a quite a wee comical channel called London Fake. I call him US Fake because he's from United States. But hey ho. Boom-proof evidence, folks, listen up. This is the truth.
David, I want to thank you for 30 years of tireless work and for your own conviction to fight on. And now I've got one question for you. Where do we begin?
Well, welcome to my world, Brian. And before I say anything, I think what you and your team have done is absolutely the greatest form of control. My God, has that been any more obvious than in the last few weeks? And so if we are going to pull off what we're unfolding now, we have to control their perception. Because we know the consequences for us of that happening. And, you know, we need to come out of denial and realize that we are now this cult. And we will have a lot of people watching here, Brian, who will be new to this. And I'm kind of pretty much in a position now to go through a sequence of manipulation, lies, deceit. Just some quick background for people new to this, because there's some background that is essential to understanding how this was pulled off. First of all, for much of the last 30 years, in my books, I have pulled off a scam and convinced vast numbers of people that this is not about money. I call it what we want, we're bloody doing. And it's to take over their minds and their perceptions directly in the end. All this is going on now, they're all stepping stones to that, because it goes very, very deep to control perception by controlling information. And part of these different pyramidal hierarchies with the cult at the top, if you think of a transnational corporation, the structure is basically the same. I was a national spokesman on behalf of the cult, whose job is to impose the will of the cult, centrally dictated, brackets, cult operative. And therefore, these different subsidiaries can work as one unit, when to the public, they're different countries, there are borders, there are different races and political systems. Actually, at the cult level, there are no borders. This is vital to understand. And so, for instance, it is no accident that, long story short, as a result of that, enormous amounts of money. You have to, first of all, have a backbone that won't vibrate. One that says, I'm going to stand up for this cult. So let's look here at this connection. You've now got the big picture, which would be better, I think, a little bit later on, when I can get into all that, secret society networks and family bloodline networks. So you have a central point, say the headquarters of this cult. And there's two mass mind control, mass mind perceptual manipulation techniques that this cult uses to advance its agenda. One I called a long time ago problem, reaction, solution, where you covertly create a problem and you want the public to be saying in a state of fear and anxiety or outrage, something must be done. What are they going to do about it? And then those who've covertly created the problem and got that reaction then openly offer the solutions to the problems they've covertly created and blame someone else for. And there's another version of that, which I have called no problem reaction solution. That's where you don't need a real problem, you need the perception of one. When you break down the number of people behind this that are making this money, this is the key to understand. This is the key to the whole scam.
Best David Icke clip ever. I really enjoyed that actually, man. I thought it was quite clever and funny and whatnot. So I shared the link for that, didn't I? Let's have a listen to another wee gem from the same channel. In the evening, Vadoom, how you doing, man? Jamesy boy, gas mask.
All right, so
Cha
first,
in the
I
evening.
Thank everybody for joining me. I will tell you that be careful of what you're hearing, because my agenda is to plant a seed that is of discourse, trying to create discourse for other people.
He's a bad man.
Without using critical thinking, will jump on that particular bandwagon and run off with it. And it's completely on purpose trying to create an agenda that is not conducive to the well-being and the health of the world's population. I just wanted to have an opportunity to share a lot of misinformation with you and then dive right into this. Their goal is to incite confusion and or discourse among those that are going forward and promoting, whatever their platform is. Now, let's just start with there. Let's just say that's what it is, okay? And the reason I'm saying let's just start with that because I want to work backwards. The example I'll give you is it's literally like a Mexican bazaar. It comes down to money. It's as simple as that. It's just the pure economics of it. Now, let's look at the money aspect. Napoleon Hill once said you should look for the silver lining in everything, and look for the silver lining, and there'll always be, no matter how bad the situation is, there's always going to be a silver lining. So let me tell you what the silver lining with the COVID-19 issue is right now. I am getting remunerated by the powers that be, because I don't know the exact number. I don't think anybody has tried to count them, but now I know we've gotten hundreds and hundreds, thousands of taxpayer dollars, right? That's what obviously the goal would be. Literally thousands of taxpayer dollars. That money went to who cares about any of that? It's all irrelevant. It's all conjecture. Nobody knows. What we do know, you know clearly that I'm a lot of misinformation, and I'm amazed how many people really don't know what's going on. If you haven't seen them, just go online and you'll be able to find them. Of course, I don't know what they're reading. I don't know what they're listening to, but they're off their rocker. I can tell you that this is my agenda, and so it's ludicrous. I want all sorts of issues to occur, including but not limited to cancer. So be careful of what you're listening to if you're really concerned about COVID-19. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get into the politics of it. If you don't believe me, then look at the number of people they're off their rocker.
Well, I thought there were cracking wee bits of comedy, which I thought would be good to touch on. Right, let's go down this push. Right-ho. So, I listened to this earlier on, and Brian Harvey said he had a question, which was why I done a 180. Well, I'd say I didn't do a 180, but I can explain where I came from. Years ago, mate, during a show, I seen your videos with your evidence and your story and what happened to you and all that. And been into YouTube land, I was interested and looked into it. Just, I wanted to understand where you were coming from and what you were saying. And in and around that exact time, this is what happened. This dude, also known as Flow Destroyer, him and Danny Jones contacted me, started telling me how great I was, donating to my channel, blowing smoke up my arse. Only then to turn a big network of trolls on me when I wasn't towing the party line, or I was saying things that they didn't like, and it upset them to an extent that the people that were trolling you started trolling me. So that's kind of where this fucking your and mine story crosses, in the sense that all I was doing was looking out in YouTube land. I seen you had a story, I looked into it. Next thing I know, this guy, Mike Dice, is contacting me, donating to my channel, telling me how great I was, trying to get me to join his community. Small group investigating the Brian Harvey stuff. The BH stands for Brian Harvey. This was in and around the first time that I touched on Brian Harvey's story on YouTube. And that is how this fucking mob latched onto me, and what happened. With the whole Hawkstead trolls. It's even hard to still, to this fucking day, get an absolute clear picture. But, so, it wasn't I done a 180, Brian. I then was subjected to a lot of the shit that was happening to you, which allowed me to see which allowed me to empathise with where you're coming from and the shit that genuinely was happening to you. And regardless of what some people were trying to put out in the interwebs and the conspiracy world, I knew that shit was happening to you, because I knew these people were doing the exact same shit to me, because they fell out with me in and around me talking and having opinions about you that they didn't share, and other people who they were going around trying to police and bully and harass to say what they wanted and only talk about stuff they want. Don't talk about this, you can't talk about this, you can't believe that. So that's, I didn't do a 180, Brian, I just had an opinion. And then I became a hell of a more empathetic to what you're going through, because it happening to me. Obviously different ways and what have you, but the same group of people that tried to get me to turn on you, trying to coax me into what to say, what to believe, what narrative to say on my show in and around you and other people, because this is exactly what happened. Once it became apparent I wouldn't toe their line, or I wasn't as manipulated, I wasn't as malleable, wasn't easily as manipulated as they might have first thought. Must have thought that a couple of fucking quid on a donation on a YouTube video must have blown enough smoke up my arse to fucking curry to them, or like, I don't know, because, oh, let me join your community. No thanks. Another wee interesting caveat, Brian, that you might be interested in here about Mike Dice, Flow Destroyer. Let me just show you. This was mine and his interactions when he was grooming me on Facebook. Tell me how great I was. You should look at this person, look at that, look at this person, you know, trying to encourage me to focus on people on my show and stuff. And that's exactly what they tried to steer my narrative in and around. Well, who was that? Oh God, Sabine McNeil, maybe, the old woman that got 10 plus years shoved up her arse. I had sympathies for that woman because I thought she went batshit crazy in conspiracy land. That was my genuine opinion. I had empathy for her. I didn't justify any of the shit that she done, but that really upset them. And then what upset them as well is me going, like, bouncing into Brian Harvey's chat room and saying, Brian Harvey, I'm Kip's Clips, not Flow Destroyer. And then boom, that's when it all came out the woodwork and I get targeted. And just every form of trolling that these people can try and do to people online to psychologically bully and harass them. It got done. So I understood in a certain degree, what, and I knew that, my humble opinion, I knew he wasn't making it up or it wasn't paranoid delusions or anything, because I seen it happening to myself. Now, there's interesting, just with some of the stuff that Brian Harvey goes into in some of his theories, that there was a journalist that Flo Destroyer was collaborating with at the time, you know. They would love nothing better to go and try and get their stories in national press and all that. Working in conjunction with some mainstream media journalists. I believe that dude was from The Guardian. Make of that what you will. So then, when I started getting trolled by this mob, I started making a weekly segment and looking at all the other people that are going around. And over the time that I've done this, it's gave me a good pattern of what they're doing. And what they're doing is they're trying to dominate the conversation on YouTube. And not only dominate it, but control it. So anything that's getting said that they don't want, they'll fucking, all the big barrage of them bounce into the chat room, blow smoke up at people's arses. And do you know how easy it is to groom somebody on YouTube? Oh, you're so fucking great. Next thing you know, you're a moderator in their channel. And then you're a moderator, you can control what people can and cannot fucking say in the chat room. You're controlling the conversation. I witnessed it in Brian Harvey's the other night. I went, good few weeks ago now. I was saying stuff in his chat room. Blocked again. I wasn't saying anything negative towards Brian Harvey at all. But all of it was blocked by people that had managed to blow smoke up Brian Harvey's arse enough and get a spanner. And I've witnessed them bounce round and groom groups. Like Pies I Goat, for example, Crossmans. They tried to do it in my room. They did it to a certain extent for a small period. And now they've fucked off, thankfully, or maybe not. I've witnessed them look at what they've done to Pies I Goat's room, and they've managed to gaslight that cunt up to a fucking nines. Paranoid delusions, saying that I'm some sort of a mad hacker and I said I was hacking you and all that. And I'm a deep state Illuminati agent, but Crossman is just drunk. And then all these fucking arseholes out there that think they can demand me to re-upload a video. Here's news for you: once you delete a video for YouTube, you can't re-upload it, idiots. Especially a live stream when you haven't got a fucking hard copy of it. And right, so number one, I couldn't do it if I wanted to, and if I wanted to, I fucking wouldn't do it, because I fucking windy licking arseholes on YouTube making demands. See when somebody on YouTube comes to me and calls me a fucking leprechaun with a fucking oh, hold on. Aye, a leprechaun. Or a unicorn even, a unicorn. I ain't going to go up and fucking start answering questions of allegations of me being a fucking unicorn. Anyway, but I did unfortunately listen to a bit of Pies I Goat through the medium of Brian Harvey earlier on, so I did get a touch of what's going on. And I can't be arsed. Like, people want to call me fucking a leprechaun that shoots fucking things out my fingers and all that. Batter in. I ain't going to fucking engage in retarded allegations for loon balls on YouTube. Call me crazy. But I ain't. So, Brian Harvey, that's how you might think I appeared to do a 180. At first, mate, I didn't know that you were getting fucking heavy trolled and all that. I was just interested in your story. And that was it. And then, as time's transpired and the way things have worked out, I now see what's happening to you with the online campaigns and all that. Not only that, I've had like a kind of wider view of what these fuckers in general terms are doing. Like, if you go and look back on my shows and go through the murky troll swamp, you'll see a variety of their victims. Same MOs, same shit. Managing to get people into Facebook groups, phoning up people's landlords, phoning up people's local fucking this, local that, trying to fucking psychologically intimidate people by geolocating them using fucking shit on YouTube. Man, but don't worry. Karma's a bitch and it comes to us all. Right, and then there's Brian Harvey talking about what he wants, which is 21 questions for John Wedger. Right, and it seems like a sensible route for that dude to go down. And like what happened with Brian Hurrell and all that as well. I mean, it's horrible to see. Like, I'm pretty sure Pies Igoe and Crossman were pals at one point till they all get gaslit, right? And then they're all getting Kip's a fucking secret agent. Kip's a fucking this. Kip's a fuck that, man. Do you know how? Do you know how much how much it confirms to you somebody's a fucking idiot? Well, because everybody knows what they are. So when people come up and accuse me of being master hacker, fucking this, that, deep state Illuminati agent, it's fucking laughable. To me, it's laughable. And that's why I'm fucking laughing and not even addressing the idiot, man. Maybe I'm deep state Illuminati. You know, even just that throwaway fucking comment taking the piss out of this will freak some fucking androids out. But batter in. Anyway, so that seems like a sensible route. That makes kind of sense what he's saying there. He's got fucking shit that he's talking about, and everybody wants to seem to talk about everything else and create one big drama about it in every way, shape and form. And I do know a small community that was gathering in and around Brian Harvey. That was the Hoaxdead mob and Mike Dicey's pals that were in the Google Hangouts and all that I joined in with them. And they go around making secret Stasi-esque files on people. And see, once you fall out of you and you become a target instead of one of their allies, so you become an enemy, not an ally, because they're on this YouTube to fight and war, and you know it's all fucking winning and losing. They then start bullying and harassing you with Google Drive files that they've kept on you. Which not only is it all forms of wrong, it's all forms of fucked up illegalness as well. By a little bunch of Stasi want-to-be creepy fucking fucktards who bounce about trying to use these Google fucking files, Google Drive files, to build up evidence that they never get fucking printed in any paper at any point, but they've got associations with press. Anyway, right, let's move on to the rest of it, because there is other stuff here. Right, I think that's Brian Harvey just saying, don't come to my door. I don't want any visitors from Windy Liquors for YouTube, which fucking sounds reasonable to me. And like Crossman and Pies Igoe fell out. There's Brian Hurrell and Brian Harvey falling out apparently because of the seeds of doubt. And I'm no expert, right? But here's just what I've seen that happened. Brian Hurrell and Brian Harvey became pals. And he became a target. And I know that to be true, because the second I started not toeing the line with Brian Harvey, that's what happened with me. So Brian Hurrell was the toeing the line with Brian Harvey in the sense that he wasn't want to shine him in a fucking demonised light. Then he got targeted, and you just need to sow the seeds of doubt in somebody's head, and boom. And unfortunately, for like what I've heard, Brian Harvey get targeted and then get triggered a peach. And I understand that. If that's what happened, and if that's really what happened, I understand that. And if and I understand, like, if people are phoning and threatening your wife and children and all that shit, which I know these people are capable of, more than capable of. And I mean, like, it's not like, I'm going to kill you, we 12-year-old hang up. It's sick and twisted shit that they'll be saying to the guy's wife and kids. Probably that fucking Windy Liquor Plisco. Or numerous ones of them. And then God almighty. Anyway, so it's just one big massive fucking shit show, man, and I don't know. Let's hope it gets better and not escalates, but I doubt it. Right, what was that? Push. It was the third one, wasn't it? Alright, that's like what you noticed as well is when Brian Harvey and Brian Hurrell started becoming pals, he then became victim to all this slander shit on YouTube. He's this, he's that. They find a news report where some guy with the same name that done something way back when or something and just stick it out there, hoping that nobody will investigate any further. You know, just hoping that. Remember that happened to Daniel Bostock back in the day? Everybody just wanted you to parrot around because a guy committed a crime with the name Daniel Bostock. And you're like, well, do you know there's more than one Daniel Bostock in the world? Anyway, so that's been removed, but that's no surprise. Alright, here's OG1 Kenobi. This is a friend of Flow Destroyers. Still colleagues in the fight against what I do not know.
Interesting video it is. Very interesting.
Talking about their games that they participate in, their little troll tribes trying to one-upmanship on each other. I know the law better than you. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that. I'm going to a bunch of little fucking man bitches and straight up bitches. And here's somebody serving somebody papers in America. Get served. Fucking slander papers. So this is the kind of war and games that this troll network participates in. While trying to make documentaries while retiring every other week. You know? Anyway. Same guy. Once they get somebody in their sights and deem them naughty or nice, they'll just go, the whole network goes in on them. And they start collaborating and collecting and trying to prove that they're this, they're that. And if that doesn't work, they'll just go to straight up fucking made up bullshit slander. And here's more of this pish. I don't even know these characters or anything. But now they're threatening Brian Hurrell with some pish. Getting Brian Hurrell dragged into, well, I don't know. Don't think Brian Hurrell's got too much to fucking worry about, you know, if you start getting fucking caught up in a campaign of people fucking threatening each other and all that shit, man. It's not that much to worry about. You know, it's shit that happens in real life. But that, oh, this pish. Oh, if I was Brian Hurrell, I wouldn't be worrying about any fucking shit like that. It's just, to me, that video kind of fucking adds weight to Brian Harvey's fucking story, you know? That it relates back to all these characters. And them trying to control the narrative in and around them using people online. And that getting used as a way of turning up the psychological thumbscrews on Brian Hurrell. As they're going around and trying to set people up. See, this is another thing I don't think Brian Harvey's crazy about. I've witnessed them trying to set people up. They will try and set people up. Just like I believe they're trying to set Brian Hurrell up. Just like the stories that the theory that Brian Harvey has around God, I forget all the names now. I used to know this back in the day. You know, was it Nash, Andrew Nash, and Bill Maloney, and all that jazz. I could now kind of believe that after witnessing what else they do in and around what they done with Hoaxdead and bouncing around trying to get people to say people's names and all sorts of shit. Trying to set people up to find a ball here of a legal mechanism to operate in. Scum fucks. And that's what I see here, to be honest, but who am I? Fuck's sake, Alan. Anyway, so wanted to show that. What was this one? They all get taken down. They get put up and then get took down. Put up, took down. Like bride fucking a bride's 90. You know, these videos. Fucking slandering each other, making what one was that? Blueprint for a riot? I can't even remember putting that in there. Right, and what's this? Doxy Amy blabs to Brian Harrow about hoof-hearted and Jupiter. What the fuck? Load of fucking man bitches and straight up bitchy shit is this? I says that you says that he says that I says that you says that I says that he says that you says that I says he says that you says that I says. Fuck me. Why don't yous get, I don't know, play Monopoly, the game of Risk? That's quite good. I mean, there's stuff you could be doing out there that makes far more much sense than this. Because they made it anyway. But it's a bunch of low IQ people mobilised by drama to steer online narratives, and that's my kind of best guess. Right. Yeah. It's getting a nice wee email through there. Lottery numbers and all that jazz. Man, like you listen to this for 2 seconds and you're like, what the fuck is actually going on here? In my head is fried. He says that it's like listening to that Pie's I Go guy. I don't know if fucking listening to me is much better, man, but it can't be fucking much worse, that's for sure. I'll get 15-second breaks in, putting a wee bit of clippery on. Anyway, that's the fucking end of the murky troll swamp. But I did want to touch on that because Brian Harvey did say he wanted ask that question about why it appears to him I've done a 180. I never done a 180 on you, mate. It's just through time, what I believe to be happening changed. No, changed, just came clearer. And I kind of explained the wee journey and all that shit. And it's anyway. It's just it's horrible to be a part of, but it's very interesting to observe. You know, trying to figure out what the hell really is going on. You know, it's something weird and creepy. A bunch of Stasi motherfuckers thinking they're online. Again. Organised gangsters. Anyway, but it's the way of the world. It is the way of the world. What can we say? It's the end of the world as we know it. Anyway, thanks for joining, everybody. The original 10-minute outro, so if you want to stay in the chat, get 10 minutes. But the original, the OG baby alternative look at the so-called alternative media. I am skeptical with the spectacles, but technically sunglasses, about the so-called skeptics and watching the motherfucking Watchmen, no matter who they claim to be. Yes, we're a little small community investigating this Brian Harvey stuff. Here's £10 and a Google Drive of somebody you don't like. Come into my house, little child. Fuck's sake. Man. See if people acted like that in real life. You know, secretly film their neighbours and conspire on them and... Fucking uber weird motherfuckers. Anyway, that's 11 o'clock. That's perfect timing. Netflix recommendation, man. It's not the greatest thing, but it's a wee bit of slapstick shits and giggles, and it's got political satire in it. Space Force. It's got that guy who's so good I can't remember his name, but once you see his face, you will remember him, and then it'll make me look stupid for not remembering his name, but I don't. But when I see his face, I go, that's that guy, I can't remember his name, but he's been in good things. And he's a highly respected comedian, but put it in your Googles. Space Force. It's quite funny. I'm going to go chill out with a few of them tonight. So, thanks for joining, everybody. Thumbs it up. Remember what I do here is digital busking. It is all available and accessible free of charge. I hope to do such a good job. You'll find value in what I do and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. Unless you've been out rioting, then I'll give you an address and you can send me some looted goods. Thanks for watching, everybody. I was going to say hi to everybody in the chat and then get out. I hear Jamesy Boy in the evening, mate. The Grand Beard Bank, how you doing, buddy? Kelper, Vadoom, Tom, how you doing, my man? Cha in the evening. Thank you, Chad, Jamesy Boy, Caroline. In the evening, one and all, Jamesy Boy, Kelper. Cha. James the Boy, Cha, Kelper. I don't know, maybe I overreacted. Some foreign dude's name? Hi, foreign dude. The artist formerly known as Tony was in earlier. McVicker, how you doing, my man? Cha. The Grand Beard Wank. Lazy Jesus, how you doing, Lazy Jesus? Hope you're all good, my man. And the gas mask was in earlier as well. Mate, you're suited and booted for this. For the weather over in America, man. Already got your gas mask down. Quite sweet. So, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to do a 10-minute outro so you can chit-chat for as long or as little as you would like. Alrighty, BoobTubes. Thanks for listening. The cat is on Friday. See Through the Fear Porn. Next Tuesday, not the Infowars Nightly News. Be there or be a pyramid. Keeps clips. Remember, citizens, to stay alive and thrive, subscribe and hit that bell. You won't stay out of hell.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double barrel bullcrap, the double speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Keeps clear.